Oh, hey,
Hello.
Jeff. Golly, sorry. Still a little light reading here,
Light
and
reading.
I was watching the live stream on the actual replay on YouTube, and it kind of caught me off guard there. I was like, where did music go? Hey, everybody, welcome back to the Ham Radio Kids Table. Tonight we have Jeff and myself. I think we might have a few others that might pop in and out throughout the evening as we are still kind of looking for a permanent time slot. And we thought we'd give this one a try to see how that worked out. So Jeff, how you doing, my
Yes,
friend? How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. First full week of work, and I guess today started the mayhem. Discovered something was broken for the past 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Hmm.
Now it's like a flood.
Uh-oh. It's not an actual flood, is it?
No, it's a flood of work. It's just a lot coming in at once. I guess just because everyone's back from the holidays and vacation, we're just getting more requests in than we have been. So,
Frank, you are in
and
the chat. You're
there's Frank.
you're in the stream, Frank.
I don't have audio yet. Hold on a second.
Okay.
So why are you here then?
Audio
Alfred, come
test.
here.
Audio
Come here.
test.
Come
Yeah,
here.
Jeff. We kind of had some of those things too, since we were pretty much shut down. I mean, we're a 24/7 operation with the healthcare and everything, but the professional offices were pretty much closed, and with the
Yeah.
exception of people that needed to be there, service desk, things like that, monitor the data center. A lot of people took time off. Interesting thing was my guy's like, yeah, we had to kick. I was like, so I suppose we're gonna have a kickoff meeting for this, right? He goes, yeah, we had one. And I'm like, when? He goes, I don't know, last week. I'm like, really? Did you think that was the best time to do it when
Yeah,
everybody was on vacation?
we had a bunch of daily meetings that they put on hold. Like
Yeah.
second week into or second or third week into December. It's like, yeah, it's just pointless to have these meetings if people are just not going to be here. So yeah, so we had our first few meetings today. So everything's getting back into motion again.
Mm.
The joy. Yeah, funny thing is, me and these two people that are helping me out, we had a discussion today. The first one we've had like as a group for like I guess 2-3 weeks. It's like, would you rather deal with a friendly person that doesn't know anything, or would you rather be dealing with a butthead that doesn't know anything? It's like, of course, it's a nice person that doesn't know anything because then at least you could be nice and have a pleasant conversation explaining stuff to them. But dealing with a butthead that's an idiot, it's like, who wants to deal with that? And unfortunately, why these people have been dealing with such a person. So I was like, damn. Yeah, back to the fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I tell you, I tried. Yeah, exactly right, Roger. Let me see if we can do that on here. Yeah, meetings are
Let's have a meeting to make meetings to plan our next meeting.
absolutely. Well,
I used to work with a tool that did that. Oh my god.
so did you get an opportunity over your holiday vacation to be able to do anything fun in amateur radio?
What vacation? I had like Christmas Day off. I
Okay.
did have that Friday off though. So what? I had like a 2-day work week, 3-day work week
Hmm.
last week or 2 weeks ago. 4-day work week last week, I think. But yes, I did. Well, Christmas Day, you'll see the video tomorrow night. At least the first part of it. Tomorrow night, Christmas Day was a blast. Went to a new park that I haven't been to before down in the People's Republic of Maryland. So I'll probably have 2 or 3 videos from that because I had time to be there and sit there and make contact. So I made like 64 contacts or something that day. Um, we did some live streams during then, and was it New Year's Eve? I had a half day of work, so I went out and did a park activation close by as the K Toads
Yes.
club call for them.
Oh,
to get
that's
them
right.
Delaware.
That's right. We worked each other, and I did not recognize your voice over the air.
That's right. I said I would get them Delaware, and I stuck to my word.
There you go.
So I got them Delaware. I forget how many contacts I made, but that video will be coming out. But I just kind of went hunted. That's all I did was just hunt. I did not call CQ at all. So that was pretty cool. I just kind of went up the band. I think it was 20 meters. I just went up the band and stopped, and made contacts. And
yeah,
I had a blast. And then it was really windy here, and of course my plans fell through again with the short bus, the short ham radio bus. That guy didn't want to pull out his antennas for it because of the wind. So I was like, whatever, I'm still gonna go out. So I went back to the same park I went the day before, along the Chesapeake and Delaware Canal, and sat there for about an hour or so and did the same thing. Just made contacts through hunting, and then I think I actually activated for a little while.
Which radio were you using?
These were the first 3 times I was using the Yaesu FT891.
Okay. So I can't remember. Did you take advantage of the Gigaparts Let's Make a Deal live stream?
Yep.
That
I got the ATOS for damn good price.
Good.
Damn good price.
So I'd already purchased an ATOS a while back, and by a while back I mean earlier this winter, for the purpose of not having to get out of my car to do a POTA activation. And so I've got a 991A, which is it's a full size desktop radio.
Yep.
And it's kind of hard to do front seat POTA with that. I use them in the Bronco in the back on the tailgate.
Yeah.
The 991A and the 7300. I love them back there. Then I've got an 857, and it's a okay radio, but it has been rode hard and put away wet. I'm at least a second owner on it. I bought it used, and when I bought it, JT65 was where all the cool kids were at. Which, if you guys aren't familiar with JT65, it is the predecessor to FT8 and then FT4. So, like FT8 is 15 seconds, FT4 is half of that. JT65 used to take almost a full minute per transmission. Essentially the same type of data that was going out, the same information, just it was in longer form with more error correction. And as the algorithms got better and they could do better correction, they shrunk that time down. So you're talking 7-8 minutes per cue. And so that was a lot of high duty cycle, activity on the radio. So I was a little hesitant when they and I'm not going to say Mike, I'm going to blame Mike. I'll just blame Mike. It's Mike's fault. He helped me spend my money without him realizing it. But when that Let's Make a Deal came up, I'm like, if I see one up there for a decent price, I will buy it. And I think came in under $600.
The 891.
Yes.
Yes, I heard from Jason 2.0 that they did have the 891 pop up as a special, and I'm kind of curious what the price, but I'm happy. I waited for mine to go on sale, and it went down to $629, which everyone's doing anyway. But I think I got it from DX Engineering or Gigaparts. I forget, but they were the only ones that had it for the low price at the time, so I ordered it from them, and I was quite happy. I heard it was like
580 something. I think it was like 580 something.
It was very low.
Yes. Hey Frank, how you doing, bud?
So apparently, I didn't have to reboot the whole system.
Yeah.
Your phone chat came out of the extension cable.
Okay.
There you go.
There you go.
Going back to the 991 in the car. When I started doing POTA, it was January 3rd. This is my first POTA, 2021. And I actually sat in the back seat of my Element doing it. But after that, I have a bunch of videos with my 991 before the Alpha sitting on my dashboard in front of my or behind my steering wheel, however you want to see it.
Yeah.
And it was just like that. Just seemed like the normal thing to do for me. I did with my DX10 a few times, but those radios are big. It is a pain in the rear end, and then even with my 891, I mean the 891, it's still a pain in the ass with all the cables that I have behind it and everything. I forgot how much of a pain in the rear end it was, but hey, it gets me through the winter. So I just have to wait for the warm weather to sit on the tailgate of my car.
So, question, and guys in the chat, drop this in here too. Out of curiosity, do you keep gear in your vehicle so you can do a random POTA or SOTA activation if the moment arises, you're driving by a park, you're like at work, right? And hey, I got a lunch hour and I need something to do, and there's a POTA park around the corner. Do you guys keep gear in your vehicle so you can do that impromptu activation?
When I go to and from work, yeah. When I'm on the train, no.
Yeah, I keep my antennas, my ham sticks, and the mount in my car along with my camping chair, just because it's easier to just leave it there than pull it in and out. And when I do other things, it's fine where it is for now, at least. I take anything valuable, like high price items, like the radio, the battery, and anything else out of the car. And then all this stuff is hidden. You can't see it anyway. But I don't leave like the radios and stuff like that in the car. Now, if I was like to go to work and I knew I'd be driving by a park and had some time, and I would then take my radio with me, but not on a regular basis. I don't keep the radio in my car. I don't have it mounted or anything like that. So
Yeah, so I have a Bronco, which, like a Jeep, has a removable top, and so although I have a hard top, I have a composite hard top on mine, but I'm always of the mindset that it can be broken into at any time. If there's a will, there's a way.
yep.
And so I'm not I don't necessarily keep anything in there that I am one isn't going to be able to be replaced by insurance, but I mean, I'm not attached to my radios. I am, don't get me wrong, I'd be upset if somebody stole it. I'd be upset that somebody violated my property, but it's a radio. It can be replaced. I'm not sweating that.
I've always been in the mind of not to leave any personal expensive items in the car. I've been on both sides of that situation. So I've had people trying to steal stuff out of my car. I've known people that had their cars broken into for like the most stupidest stuff. And the fact that you look at the Ring app, it's like, oh, these people are going through neighborhoods stealing stuff. They broke into my car. You left it on lock. Of course, they're going to get into it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, even if you have like a backpack sitting in your back seat, they don't care. They're just going to break your window and take it, no matter if you just had a pair of dirty underwear in there. They don't care. They see something that might have some value in it or of it, and they'll take it anyway. They do it for the giggles. No. That's what they do. So just don't keep expensive stuff in your car in plain sight.
That's an interesting point you bring up. Around here, half my town carries concealed, the other half carries open. We don't have a crime problem, but I wouldn't go up to Indianapolis. Yeah, I wouldn't go up to Indianapolis and necessarily, leave my phone and my tablet and a computer laying on my front seat, and I'd be concerned about it up there getting broken into.
Yeah.
And Frank, I know you're out there in the Bay Area. You hear about the news reports all the time where somebody parks their car for 30 seconds and they're getting their window busted and something
Not
taken
even
out of the
30
back seat.
seconds in some areas.
Yeah,
And actually, right now, the car is up because I'm down. It's up in Bakersfield. Granted, work has a pretty secure yard for where we put our cars, around the
hmm
yard office and whatnot. So, there have been some instances, but I keep everything locked away, uh, tighter than a nun, shall we say. Uh, keep it PG
you and
13.
I aren't hanging around the same nuns.
Hmm.
Uh-huh. Um,
And
it,
Jeff's
it's
over there
locked.
going, uh-huh.
Hmm.
It's locked away, and ain't no one getting to it unless you know how to bend metal.
Yeah, I know how to bend metal. I know how to bend windows.
No, I'm talking the reinforced metal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've done some stuff in my time.
and,
So
Let's put it
and
at that. Let's put it at that.
Roger brings up a pretty good point. Remember your ABCs. I mean, you could use the
Yep.
ABCs for a lot of things. Always be
Always be
carrying,
choking.
always be choking. Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of ABCs that you could
If
definitely use.
if I'm not going to the courthouse downtown Wilmington for anything, and I'm
Mhm.
downtown Wilmington, damn straight I'm gonna be carrying because I used to run around there half liquored up with musical instruments and very expensive other gear back in my 20s. Downtown Wilmington, middle of the night. Yes, it,
Let me
it
guess.
is.
Are you a bass player?
No, I wasn't a bass player. Um, but um, that's just a whole nother story. But we always had a crowd. We were never afraid of anything because 12 years old, we're walking, was it 12? No, like 14 ish. We're walking downtown Wilmington looking for stuff to get into. And some smart aleck decides to throw a broomstick at a overhead highway sign that's on that road. Coming down the other way, there's the city police. Yep, that was an interesting night. We never got caught, but there's a lot of things that happened that night. I mean, I know what happens. I was a juvenile delinquent. I know how criminals think.
Yep.
I've been in downtown in the middle of the night, but I wouldn't want to be there by myself. I was with people. So, but we were never in the really bad sections of the city.
S-
Unlike
s-
Detroit, I've been to the very bad sections, and we had a lot of fun there.
Safety in numbers is one of
Yes.
those things when you do stuff like that. And when I was in the Navy, we spent a lot of time traveling to foreign countries, and what people we got into a few fights. What they didn't anticipate when they would come and mess with some of the sailors is that we would usually be somewhat in a roving gang of about 50 plus people. Uh, so if anybody had a problem, I mean, I don't care if you liked this guy or didn't like the guy. When somebody was messing with one of your shipmates, gloves came off.
Yep.
And let's just say I have a record in a couple countries where I've.
We basically did similar things with the band. I mean, if we were at a bar, if it was our home bar, it was like you don't mess with anyone in the bar. Like you don't mess with the band, you don't mess with the friends of the band.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
go to a bar, you like, and you don't know anyone. You don't start shit because you get a very wet motorcycle helmet, and it wasn't with water or alcohol. Let's just leave it there.
Yeah.
But we'd go to different bars, and the group of people that were associated with people from my band and other bands had a tendency to start fights at almost every bar we went to. You could always count on at least one chair, maybe two, flying through the air.
You
And
know,
it was guaranteed that something was going to happen. And you know what? Always be carrying. And I wasn't carrying back then, but you know what I was always carrying? A beer bottle. I never drank out of a cup. I always drank out of a bottle.
I feel like, Jeff, I'm envisioning the rawhide scene from the Blues Brothers. Is that right along the same lines there?
Well, we did play at a bar one time up in Wilkes-Barre, PA, and they had the stage was enclosed in a chain link fence,
Was
and
it
we
heavy
pushed
metal?
we pushed the microphone. Well, we pulled the cable through one end of the fence, and we left our singer out on the floor with everyone, all the straight edge kids, and yeah, that was not a good time, but we had fun.
Heavy metal bar,
I don't remember. We were only there that one time. The bartender had a tooth that didn't glow in the dark, or that did glow in the dark when she smiled.
all righty.
But for some reason, there was a bunch of straight edge kids up there, and they wanted to stir up some trouble after the show. And I said, "You guys really want to? I got a big ass car that's ready to run people over. You get in my way."
Yeah.
But they were just all talking. They were too scared to.
I don't think
actually fuck with us.
I don't think I ever had any experiences like that when I was touring.
The
But
street,
we had security, so there you go.
the street kids are usually like that, Jeff.
Yeah, this was like in the 90s, and we were all about drinking beer and having a lot of fun. But I don't remember how all this happened. I don't know why all these were straight edge kids there. I mean, we pop up in different towns, and half of them know us, half of them don't. The towns, that is. And it's either like a hit or miss. I mean, we played in Atlanta, and there was like no one there. It's like, oh, by the way, yeah, they're boycotting this bar that we're playing at tonight. We're like, what? So you never know what was happening, but you go to a town where they know your music and everything. It's awesome.
Well, good deal. Good deal. Well, I think the whole reason we started this tonight was to kind of talk about some upcoming events that we've got in the amateur radio community this month. Two of them. The two big ones is Support Your Parks Weekend, which I believe is not this coming weekend, but the following weekend. Is that right?
Yep.
January 18th and 19th. I think I got
Yes, I believe that's January 18th UTC time, so that's Friday night for a lot of people here. I believe it's UTC.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's when it's UTC.
Yep.
It's I can't see that; it's so small on there. On the screen,
Yep.
but
Saturday and Sunday. Help. Where's Jim? I need help in bigoting.
Control or
Control
command plus or minus.
There we go.
Yeah, they
That's
say
right.
it's a full weekend, but it's UTC day, so yes.
Yep. So it's gonna be Friday night at 7 Eastern, 5 Pacific. Is that right, Frank?
Yeah. I think that's
Okay.
right. 4 Eastern or 4 Pacific. I mean,
4 Pacific. Okay.
yeah.
And it's going to run all the way through Sunday evening. So that is a fun activity to get out and do. You've got two options with that. You get a cool piece of paper, photo paper, suitable for framing.
Use your own ink to print out.
That's right. You got to use your own ink, but you can doctor that. You can get some fancy ink and everything. But yeah, so there's 2 certificates that are eligible. I think you just need to get 10 contacts as a hunter, 10 contacts as an activator during that weekend.
One contact as a hunter.
Is it just one?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Well, there you go.
You just have to hunt one park and you'll get the hunter award because you hunted someone during the event.
Fair enough.
And yes, for an activator, you do need to do at least one successful activation with at least 10 contacts.
All right. Well, I personally think that that's a fun thing to do. It's a good way to get out and show your support for. Hang on here.
Yep.
It says to make sure you use good quality paper.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's a fun way to get out there and have some fun and make some contacts and everything. I've been trying to do every Support Your Parks weekend now for last couple of years.
Me too.
Just to get out there.
Yep. I try to do it too. And I actually forgot about when the winter one was. I wasn't even thinking about it. And I get on this one net, I think it was last Thursday. And they said, yep, coming up on the 18th is SPOTA Support Your Parks weekend. I'm like, oh my God, thank you for reminding me. I would have completely forgotten about it. I put everything in my calendar, so I'm set for this year at least. I got to make my plans for that day, though. I have a group breakfast from a group of people that are on this one local repeater. They started doing a monthly breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be on the 18th. So I got to figure out where I'm going to do afterwards. So we shall see.
I have one of those monthly breakfasts with a group of dads that all of our kids were in our same Boy Scout troop together. So now that all of our kids have aged out and moved on, and actually half of them now are also married and have kids of their own. We're getting together every Saturday, not every Saturday, but like one Saturday a month. And so I try to once again have radio gear with me, but there's not a easy park to get to up where we're at up in Indianapolis. And unfortunately, Indianapolis, oddly enough, only has a couple parks. One downtown, which is no, I take that back. They have two downtown now, which isn't easy to navigate to, and then one out on the northeast corner of town, which is the old Army base, now state park. So
cool.
So that's a Support Your Parks weekend. The other thing was Winter Field Day. And guys, let me know in the chat. Have you participated in Winter Field Day before? And
Yes,
if you are this year, what are your Winter Field Day plans?
I'm
Apparently
skipping Winter Field Day.
Frank's is getting a new computer. It seems like.
Yeah. I've done Winter Field Day once, I think, and it did snow. It was pretty cool. They did it in a state park. I didn't even worry about doing the POTA thing, but they did it at a state park at their campground. They rented a yurt, and the setup they had, I don't understand how or why they did the setup they did, but they just had so many issues with interference with the radios, and the antennas weren't that great. I was just like, well, what are you guys doing? But the nice thing about it had snowed the day before, and they only did Sunday. A lot of wind with it too, so they didn't do anything the first Saturday. But it was nice to actually do Winter Field Day in the snow. So,
well, that's cool. Yeah, I'm working on some plans. Actually, I've been speaking with Carlos and Alan, which is the punk rock ham radio and Life at Terminal Velocity. All three of us live here in Indiana, although they live on the other side of the state. But we are talking about what we can do to get together. I know we were looking at a cabin. We were just talking about that, and there's a state park up by those guys that is in they've got cool cabins where it's they're not like quad cabins or whatever. They're individual units, and the out back is open. And I'm thinking, well, that's great, except for you find out that their cabins are shut down until April. So that's out of the thing. So we're still looking.
Cool.
Last year, Carlos and I met at Brown County State Park here in southern Indiana, and we went ahead and did that. The both of us brought, and I saw Chris Becker bring it up here a little bit ago. Ice shanty, basically, fishing houses, ice fishing houses, pop-ups that you would put up on the water. I mean, it works great for outdoor activations in the cold. I've got a buddy heater, so we both brought one. We brought some antennas, DX Commander, stuff like that, and we set up in the nature preserve so we were in basically a twofer POTA park, and when we were calling Winterfield Day, problem was, and it's not a bad problem was though, is that there was 6,000 people that came out to enjoy the thing, large groups of people. And they were stopping by, and Chris Brecker. Hang on, I put it up on the screen so everybody knows what I'm talking about. Yes, we were talking about Chain of Lakes. That was the one that the cabins are closed. We were there. Large groups of people were coming by. We had the DX Commander up, and it was drawing a lot of attention. And so it wasn't like, oh, are you talking to aliens, or none of that kind of stuff. But
Talking to Russia?
Pretty much. Talking to your mama. That's who I'm talking to, buddy. It was a lot of
What
people
you doing?
reminiscing about an uncle, a grandfather, somebody, special to them, the neighbor down the street or something when they were a kid, dad's friends, somebody like that. And, so then it was more of an outreach or outpour of here's the hobby and everything like that. So I don't think we actually got, I think we got enough contacts to activate both the POTA entities. So we each at least made 10 contacts to get the twofer, but never enough to, I mean, it was fun. Carlos and I had a great time. We spent a lot of time talking, shooting the breeze, less on the air, but that's okay. This is amateur radio, and it is more about, I don't want to use having fun, but it's a lot about camaraderie and the other things, and radio just links us together, whether we're sitting right next to each other or sitting across the country or in a different country, with our friends up north in Canada or down in Mexico that we can easily reach, or even out in California.
Yep.
So, and Frank isn't back yet, but let's see. I saw there was a question in here about and Roger, that does count for Winter Field Day. Well, I guess I got to big in this window too. Here, let me find wrong window.
Yeah, I mean, you can go out and just do parks on the air. You don't have to do the Winter Field Day stuff if you don't want to. But if you want to, you could just do like CQ Winter Field Day and just take those contacts. You don't have to mention that you're in a park, but you could take those contacts and send those off to the POTA site too. So,
That's what I
but
try
yes,
and do.
if you want to participate in Winter Field Day, then call Winter Field Day. If you don't, just call POTA.
Yep.
No one forces you to do both. You can do either or. You can do both if you want to. It's up to you.
Yeah.
Personally,
So
I'm not a contester, so I bow out of the contesting kind of stuff like Field Day and Winter Field Day. Sometimes I avoid those days. Sometimes I don't. It just depends on how I feel.
yeah. So the good news is that field day and winter field day are not contests. That's first
They're
and
not
foremost.
contests.
Well,
Yeah.
They say.
there are objectives to it, and that's fine. But you don't have to do anything other than go and get on the air and make contacts. And if you want to relate it back to POTA, you can be an activator, you can be a hunter, you can call CQ, or you can do search and pounce and respond to CQs.
Yep.
Now they talk about in here, and really the am I on the right page? Yeah, the key to, or the point of Winter Field Day is that for us to practice our skills in unfavorable weather. So we have Summer Field Day. For the majority of the United States, it's bearable. If you live down in Texas, it's 110 degrees, and
Bearable.
it's 110 degrees in the shade
Hey, it's
with
110 in California too.
the bubbling asphalt. But flip the inverse is here. So Chris mentioned up in Wisconsin, it's cold. Chris Becker says up our future American friends up north, where down here it's cold. We lose Frank again.
No, I'm still here.
Okay. It's cold, but you want to make sure that you are protected from the elements, right?
Yep.
So, and that's really what it is, because disasters, these are really more about setting up communications on the quick, on the go, but understanding that not everybody's got to be portable. Some people can work from home, work the radio from home. Some
Yep.
people can do it in their vehicle. Some people can do it fixed at a park. Mike, if you're interested in jumping in, the link is in the channel.
Discord channel.
Yeah, the Discord channel. So that's really the whole thing. You get all the social aspect. You don't have to do this as a club. You don't have to be a member of the club. You can go out and operate individually. You can do it from home individually. If you just feel like going out and making 10 contacts, you make 10 contacts, or
Yep.
20 contacts or whatever. So the big thing is just getting out there and making contacts, having
Yep.
fun.
I've watched a lot of. I like to watch videos about people doing Field Day or Winter Field Day. I don't like to do Winter Field Day or Field Day, but I like to watch the videos of how people do it. I've seen people do it set up in pavilions and parks, and this is for Summer Field Day. People work at someone's house from the garage, and they have a barbecue trailer thing someone brings, and it always rains there. I mean, I remember I wasn't there, but the field day after the first field day I really did, my club went up to North Wilmington, and it was a hot summer, but it stormed like mad during that weekend, and they were under some kind of cover / building kind of thing. I don't remember. I didn't go, but yeah, I mean, adverse weather conditions can happen either field day, winter or summer field day. Winter, you just get most of the country gets the cold and the snow. Some more other areas might get cold or rain, but during the summer you get heat. You got the humidity. You got thunderstorms, lightning storms, all kinds of storms, hailstorms. But it's just how you do it. If you're in your house, you got nothing to worry about. You just might lose power, really, or a tree might fall on your house, but you're mostly protected. But if you go out and they're more portable doing it, then it's more adverse of a condition to deal with. It can make it interesting. It can make it dangerous. Who knows?
Yeah.
But always be safe. But there's so many different ways I've seen people do the field days. That it is interesting to watch, see how they do it, where they go. Um, Different areas have different opportunities. So
I, I tell you, I tried going to a couple club field days when I first got into amateur radio. And the very first time I went, I went from technician to general in about a half a week. So I'd never done HF before. Everything I did was on, on a Baofeng. It's
mm-hmm.
like everybody else. I started with a Baofeng and that lasted about 2 weeks until I realized it wasn't going to be adequate for what I was wanting to do.
No,
But
Tim. We know the boof wings are good for everything, right?
Boof
it's
wings.
they are very great for getting somebody past that hump of is this something I want to invest my money in?
Yep.
Right. It's a cheap barrier to entry, and it's great for that. And I know a lot of people argue with me when I say it, but I think Baofeng and other budget radios like that truly saved our hobby because people are willing to make that investment instead of a $200, $300, $400 investment right off the jump, and it's maybe something that they're ultimately not interested in. But yeah, I went to this field day. Everybody's like, if you ever want to learn, if you really want to learn about HF, and it was a good group of guys. It was a good club up in Indianapolis, and had a great time. The gentleman that was running the GOTA station to get on the air station, he spent hours with me just showing me all these little tips and how to bust pile-ups, things that you want to do when you're doing searching pounds, like just listen, get as much of the call sign as you can get as much of their exchange that they're going to give you. I don't know if anybody's watched any of the live streams that I've done, where I'm doing like a contest or whatever, and I'm doing the search and pounce. I pretty much have everything filled out short of the signal report, which is almost always a 5.9 in a contest. And if they have any kind of serial number that, but even then, if it's like, if it's like 441, I'll type in the 44 and just be ready for that last digit.
Yeah.
Knowing that at some point in there, I'm going to get in there.
Yep.
But yeah, I just learned all these little things. Great time.
Yeah, but a lot of that's a nice thing to have. But that thing about getting all the information is just about listening,
Mm-hmm.
and listening, and listening, and actually, they don't mention this, but paying attention to what the heck's going on, what's being said. What they're like for field day. What's that thing called that they give? The station or the number of radios and their
The exchange.
location. The exchange.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You gotta know their exchange because you've been listening to them trying to get in there, so you've been hearing it, so you write it down. Kind of like parks on the air. If you're listening to someone to find out, even if you don't spot them from the spotting site, you get their call sign down and you get what park number if they mention it, and hopefully you hear them saying their call sign. But when field days are good for that because yes, and it's really cool that you mentioned that you had someone teaching you how to break a pileup, how to do this, how to do that. You know what they did at my field day, my club's field day that I went to?
Argued.
Go away.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm playing FT8. I'm just going to sit back here and make FT8 contacts. Gee, eventually I got on the air, and luckily I knew what to do to make the contacts, but it was just a lot harder than doing parks on the air. But I had my fun. So
Uh,
um, it's really nice that people go out of their way during
yeah,
these events to help people, new amateurs, not experienced amateurs, um, amateurs with not a lot of experience with doing HF, and teaching them how all these skills that they've learned. Like I said, my club they hog two. They have two radios. They only use two radios. They're always a two alpha, and one radio is dedicated to digital to FT8, and the other one is hogged up by older gentlemen that prefer CW. So getting on there to do SSB is a rarity for them. And then
What
they
about
complain about they don't make a lot of SSB contacts. Well, you had two people sitting on the radio playing CW. One was making the contacts and one was logging. So what do
I
you
know they
want?
don't count for winter field day and stuff, but what about slow scan TV or RTTY or any of the more fun digital modes?
Well, Mike
You
was
know.
talking about that, doing that like just for POTA activations. Just send a SSTV and see a response back to you. Trying
Hmm.
out RIDI and all the other digital modes.
I'm not sure
Um,
how you do an SSTV contact for, but all you got to do is exchange call signs for parks on the air. So if you can take a
yep.
picture on your phone, right, of a middle finger and be able to send that up and then get one back, I
Yes,
think that
that's
would
all you need.
count. That
It
would count
would.
for a POTA, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Tim,
I
you don't
guess
even
it'd be
need to do that.
digital.
What I want to do with one of my activations these days is do a slow scan TV activation where I send a picture of my setup in the park. I'll grab it from the camera,
Yeah.
put it
Take
on
your
the
camera.
laptop, and just put it out there.
Mhm.
That's a cool idea. Now, I would say do that. Do the SSTV only activation if you're camping out at the park and you had the full UTC day to do that. Um, I jump onto 14.230 a lot just to see how clearly I could hear the signals. I remember when I first started amateur radio, I liked playing around with it because I found this cool app on the Mac that worked for a while until it stopped working. Um, but I would always go there because every once in a while there's someone that's activating on 14.230, and you go there and you hear the tones of the SSTV, and you're like, what the hell are these people doing if they're sitting on there? Are they actually doing SSB or they're actually sending SSTV stuff? Um, but a lot of times I don't hear much on there. Usually it's a lot of noise, or there's just nothing at all. But I always like to check on there just because I used to enjoy doing it. But
Yeah.
I would recommend taking a full UTC day if you're going to do an SSTV activation,
Well, what
and
what
give
I would
yourself some time to make up with SSB or something else.
what I would do, and this is just my 2 cents of how I do it, and probably how I will do it, is get your 10 in on phone. Just get
Yep.
it done and over with, and then go play SSTV for the rest of the activation.
Yep.
That way,
That's
you're guaranteed the activation,
Yep.
yep.
and then you can
There,
just go have fun.
yeah. If you're going, I think you said a SSTV only activation. So, but yes, get your activation done and then play around. Don't play around first. Do the business and then get your dessert. There you go.
And Chris, you're absolutely right. We need to do fast scan TV. The only problem with that, and this is where I think Tim wants to go with this live stream sort of stuff, is you say it's too slow and it's more grandpa related. Absolutely, but no one wants to get out there and make the program to do fast
Yeah.
scan TV at the speeds we now have. We don't even have WinLink and FT8 updated, WSJTX, JTDX, whatever. We don't even have the basic programs updated to the new, not baud rate, but bandwidth limit. So, FSTV is just one of those steps that we need to get to with that.
Yeah. So, yeah, to your point, my hope with this channel is to push the limits of amateur radio. This isn't your grandfather's ham radio anymore, where all you could do was sit in a ham shack and call it a ham shack and talk to your XYL. All these terms, all this stuff that we've done over the years, because they've always done it that way, is to me, I don't know. We just need to get out there and not ask for anybody's permission. Quite honestly, just go do it. Go have fun.
Exactly.
Make this your hobby and your hobby, and you have fun at that. And Chris, for example, and by the way, guys, if you don't know Chris, newly general, picked up his camera one day and said, "You know what? I'm going to start filming videos for YouTube," and he's doing a good job at it. So make sure if you guys don't, Frank, if you can get his channel in the chat.
Unfortunately, my computer has not recovered yet, so Jeff has better audio and video than I do tonight. I can guarantee that because I'm watching my preview, and I'm
try
like
to find
8-bit. So
awesome.
Which Chris Radio and Life?
Chris Radio and Life, yes.
Yeah,
I'll find it.
Let's get that in.
I do believe it's at Chris KD9YSW.
I got it. Yep.
Well, you know what? You're absolutely right. The point of this hobby, and I'm actually going to make a video about this. I don't want to go too in depth into it, but I just saw a video that was posted where this guy's basically saying that the amateur radio license doesn't need to be there anymore. That we're gatekeeping, and all it is UHF, VHF. It's line of sight. It goes nowhere, and we're just gatekeeping, and they need to do it. And unfortunately, and I'm not upset at the guy, but it's a mentality. That's a mindset.
All I gotta ask: were you watching Randy again?
No, it wasn't Randy. It was not Randy.
Oh, it wasn't Randy this time. Okay,
it wasn't Randy. But I think where I want to kind of go with it is, this is an experimenter's hobby. It's not an appliance operator's hobby. It's morphed into that. It's an experimenter's hobby. And we have gotten this mindset. There's so many people in here that if you don't do it this way, it's not right. If you don't follow these rules, you are doing it wrong. And honestly, that pisses me off. Nate, you know what I'm talking about. You saw the same video. And the guy's basically like, well, FRS and MERS and there's GMRS, and well, you can't do high powered channels with that. Well, there's a reason it's a channelized service. It's the easy button. And if you want the easy button, you've got GMRS, you've got MERS, you've got FRS. What either he doesn't understand or doesn't know of why there is a license to begin with. And it goes back to the founding of radio, and unfortunately everybody experimenting, because that's how they had to learn.
Yep.
They didn't have schools to go to. That's how they had to learn. And where this was going was the government finally had to come in and say, look, here, you guys do this. Here's a framework. They didn't have public safety yet, but they did have military. There were commercial broadcast entities, and a couple guys that were experimenting with a spark gap transmitter or something like that was basically blanking out half of the eastern seaboard. They had problems. I think in and around the Titanic was probably one of the major incidents that came with it, and really the license was nothing more than a way to kind of put some framework around it and have some accountability. It's not to keep anybody down. It's not to hold you back. It's not to gatekeep. there are people in the hobby that love to gatekeep, and I want to flip my finger at them and just tell them to shut up, because we're here to have fun. We're here to enjoy it. We're here to fail, and that's how we learn. That's how we learn, and that's how we get better. And what is that old saying? Failure is the whatever of all inventors and somebody in their chat will correct me, but the point is that I'm tired of hearing that kind of stuff. I mean, this is why I don't belong to clubs. This is why I don't need to be ham-splained by somebody. Dude, I was 19 years old and I'm making radars with microwaves and TV sets. I can handle all this stuff. But I want people to be able to do it. Then there's a whole nother aspect of, they always want to know why they don't have young people involved in the hobby. Well, dude, you piss them off with all your rules, and there you go. So,
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of where I'm at. If you want the easy button, there's GMRS ham, and there's nothing wrong with those things. But when the guy was saying it, I'm sitting there, I'm like, yes, you look at the ARRL's band plan for that little bit of stuff, and sorry, Frank.
No, that wasn't me.
That was me.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think you need to have the screen up if we weren't talking about it anymore.
Gone. There we go. See, Jeff, why do you got your stupid rules, Jeff? But
Back in my day, we had to use
back
a
in
piece
my
of
day.
paper.
That's right. Back in my day, we had real paper to hand out. We could use our crayons on the back. But no, I'm sure you haven't really looked at all the stuff that you can do with 2 meter and 70 centimeters, besides a couple point to point or repeater, connections on FM. Because that's a lack of knowledge, because that's what 90% of the people do on 2 meter and 70 centimeter is
they just
FM
talk.
point to point or FM repeater.
Yep.
Conversations, not even realizing that, you can point that little stupid thing up in the sky and talk to somebody off a satellite. It's a lack of knowledge and getting it out there. Mike says it here. Fail fast, quick recover, and Mike's a good one. He's always pushing the limit on things. He's getting out and he's doing stuff. I worked Mike but it was dark out this morning because he was out doing a POTA activation before the sun came up.
No, he was on his way to work.
Yeah, because he's got gear in his car, Frank, and he takes it with him.
So
he never knows when he's going to do one.
So I take my gear with me. It's just I can't take it on the train. See, now I'm all backwards. I can't take it on the train. That's
why can't you take it on train?
As it is, we have to shut our cell phones completely off, off when bored before we get on, because we're not allowed electronics on the train except for our radios and issued company devices.
Really?
Yeah. The only time we're allowed to use our personal devices or personal electronic device or PED are under very certain circumstances. So trying to bring, the Yaesu FT, forget the Yaesu FT 710, trying to bring a QRP radio is not going to happen.
Unless you get like a little handheld QMX or whatever they're called.
No,
and
not
stick a
even.
wire in the air and a battery in your pocket.
That's right. Stuff that down your britches, Frank.
Yeah.
The inward-facing cameras would have a field day.
Well,
and
go
yes,
out
we
there
do
on the
have
front.
inward-facing cameras.
Go out there in the front.
Yeah, the front part of the train.
Yeah.
right there
Yeah,
where the
no.
little handrails is on the front. They
Right
can't see
there.
what's going on. Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
at 60 miles an hour, no thank you. I'd get
just
fired
get
on
a
the spot.
See,
just get
you're
like a
not.
windscreen.
That's right, Frank. You are not hamming harder. I
Yeah,
mean, now let's think. No, I don't want to hear your excuses. Matter of fact, I want to start off with that. I don't want to hear your excuses. Carlos jumps out of a stupid airplane, and
a
he's falling
perfectly
at
good
terminal velocity.
airplane. A perfectly
He-
good airplane.
Yes,
and he's
indeed.
falling
know.
at terminal velocity.
But he does
He's
that
falling
for fun.
philosophy.
Huh? He does that for fun. This is my job. This is my livelihood. Yeah, Chris. I don't think it's the military, although we do transport military stuff. So, but I'm not allowed on those trains.
It's
No.
I'm sure it's probably DOT safety
No,
regulations,
Uh,
or is it company policy?
it's company policy mixed with Federal Railroad Administration policies. With the railroad, rules are written in blood. In this case, the no personal electronic device thing came from the 2008 Chatsworth accident, where a Metrolink train went head on into a UP local right across the hill here in Chatsworth, California, just outside LA, and killed a whole bunch of people commuting on their way home from work.
Yep, that's how they all happen. Like that. And that's what I was probably gonna say. It's something like it's a safety issue. You need to be paying attention to what you're doing when you're driving a train. They're probably playing freaking what's that, Candy Crush on their phone.
I wish. No, what it was is the engineer on that passenger train was actually texting what we call a foamer. Now, there's a difference between a foamer and a rail fan. I won't get into that right now unless we really want to dive down that rabbit hole.
Slow down. Slow.
Don't.
I didn't catch the words he said.
Oh,
okay. There's a foamer, FOAMER.
Okay.
And a rail fan, FAN. There's a huge difference between the two. I'm not going to dive into that rabbit hole. But
it's kind of like a whacker.
Yes.
It's kind of like a whacker.
Yeah,
a whacker or a wanker?
Both. A foamer is basically what I would equate to an ambulance chaser. I know we all know that term. So, yeah, that's
so they can provide you legal advice too.
One of those guys.
So they can provide legal advice to you also.
Right.
The foamer.
Yeah.
Well, you said they're like an ambulance chaser, and they're usually attorneys.
They tell me how I'm doing my job wrong all the time. Yes.
Oh man.
All right. I didn't catch the words
funny.
you were saying, but I got a good idea of what you meant by it. But I didn't hear what you said.
Once my max headroom on this computer decides to come back down, maybe my video and everything will start behaving.
Well, you said it really quickly, and it sounded like I wasn't sure what you said because never heard those terms before. So
Frank, I'm going to challenge you. Do you get a bathroom break on the train? Do you have a head that you can go to? Do you guys call them heads on the trains by chance? Or you just hang it out
right behind this door here?
So you hang it out the back, or what?
No, there's a porta potty right behind this door here.
What, like, so everybody can see it?
No.
Oh, okay, you got some privacy, right?
It's private.
Well, there you go. Just load up. Now the frame of this thing, the outer skin, is it aluminum?
What, the engine? Solid metal.
Yeah. So the walls are solid metal?
Mm-hmm.
That might be a little harder. Is there something that you could sneak in and set up as an antenna? So like when you can go in, like take 3 trips to the bathroom and you get your 10 contacts in while you're
the problem
while you're sitting on the toilet.
Get a mag mount.
There you go. See, there you go. It's steel, right? Is it steel or aluminum?
Steel.
Well, then it's ferrous, right?
Steel.
So you could slap a mag mount antenna on there and
the engineer sits right here and I sit over there. The bathroom's down here. I gotta pass him or her every time I go to the bathroom, and if something seems funky, it's not gonna. If it doesn't pass the smell test, it's not gonna pass the smell test, and I'm not gonna risk. No,
Dude, you are going to the bathroom. It's gonna smell. All right. Just there's
Ed, exactly. Foamers think they know more about regs than I do. Absolutely.
well, Nate says get out there and load up them handrails on the outside.
Yeah, just stick a wire on there. It's all you need.
Mhm.
See,
Matter of
we
fact,
have-
you could drop in a toilet. It's a porta potty. It holds its water, right? You can drop your radial in there and get like that saltwater effect that Salty Walt gets when he's doing activations out on the beach.
and then
Frank,
I have to
you're
live
not
with
hamming
that,
harder, buddy.
and then I have to live with that smell for the next week and a half on my antenna. No, thank you.
Just
Nate,
leave the
yes,
wires in the toilet. Just
these
disconnect the wire
handrails
from your.
could- So the handrails here could probably be
Mhm.
tuned up for at least 17 meters, maybe 20 if it's a good tuner. Not the
I'd say
G90.
10.
The G90 will tune the whole thing down to 40, no problem.
Oh, that G90 will tune the rails, man.
Oh yeah,
So there you go. Just hang a contact pad out, right? So it's rubbing up against the rail, and use the G90.
the problem with that though is the rails carry sensitive, not sensitive electronic, but sensitive electrical data through them for the signals and the relays.
Mm.
So that the dispatcher, when we pass a signal, it drops to red. That's because we completed the circuit there, and that sends a signal back to Omaha or for UP or Dallas for Burlington Northern, and they know, oh, well, Frank on that train is now in this block, so he's good.
Yeah, if we put an antenna wire, we might be crossing the streams and stuff.
Exactly.
So what are you gonna get, ESPN on your radio or what? I mean,
No, we just screw everything up.
The
Now-
signals won't change. They'd have cars going across the tracks when the train's coming.
Right. Oh,
What's
Dawn
Don
finally
saying?
made it over here. Dawn, you're like an hour late now.
So Don's on Texas time. Those guys down in Texas don't know how to tell time.
That's
They're always
okay.
they're always an hour off from the real time zone.
That's okay, Tim. For a little bit there in the secret meeting, all we could see was about this much of his head. From my hands up, that's all we could see of his head.
Mm.
That's why I was late to begin with. I was in the secret meeting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
But anyways,
So what did we come on here today? We talked to yes. So
Winter
Field
Parks
Day.
weekend, Winter Field Day.
that's right.
I was saying that
Have
it was
fun.
nice to have that you have had people teaching things there. My club didn't teach; they just wanted to play CW and hog the radio. And that's all they ever want to do. They just want to be 2 alpha all the time. I'm like, how about go to station? No, we got to be 2 alpha.
Time for a new club.
Yeah, I left that.
So one of the things, Jeff, you and I are in technology. Don, you work in technology. You know, one of the things that we can always relate to is that this is an ever evolving industry. I heard somebody, I can't remember what it was. They were talking about people having to learn how to adapt in their jobs. Things evolve, things change. And then they made this comment. They're like, IT people have to like learn a whole new set of skills every summer because every year things, turn over and change so rapidly in our industry. And it's one of the things, it's the death that you can get in sometimes with companies is when they get stuck in these old ways. And, I'm seeing it now with a company that's trying to do a lift and shift on an environment into the cloud. And it's like they're trying to replicate what they have in their on-prem data center in the cloud. And it's like it's not designed that way. It's not going to work that way. And if it does, you're gonna pay tons of money to try to replicate that. And those kind of lessons can be replicated in what we do here. Amateur radio has evolved and changed as a technology, right? There's stuff that you can do now that wasn't available when I started. The fact that you can put a radio in your hand now, they'd always had, and I'm going to use like tuna can, CW radios where it was a basic simple circuit. You used a crystal oscillator and you did your dits and das, and you had to have some other type of a radio for a receiver. So you had a two-part setup. And that was what, somebody like Adam, K6ARK, the soda guy,
Mm-hmm.
could use to go up on the side of a mountain and do it. Well, now he can do it all in a radio that does everything in his hand and has voice in it too.
Yep.
5 watts, those kind of things where those old cans were just running off a 9-volt battery. And the newer radios also can run off 9-volt batteries, but just sitting around and doing the same old thing. I picked up this book. This was another one of those things I got on the
Let's make a deal.
Gigaparts.
The Let's Make a Deal event at
Cool.
Gigaparts. 1,600 pages in that book.
Yeah, that's a big book.
Now, it's not 1,600 pages of antennas. The first couple hundred pages are all of the electrical engineering behind antennas and ballons and chokes and transformers and all that good stuff. So if it is something that you are interested in, I would highly suggest getting it. ARRL's got some publications too. But
They got their own antenna book too. Yeah.
this was $60 or something like that. So I don't know how much the ARRL ones are. But Don, I can make some photocopies for you and fax them to you over SSTV.
No, you want to fax them over WeFax. It's much more reliable.
But I bet that uses the internet.
No,
No.
it's satellite up, satellite down, and it's like half the speed of slow scan.
Oh. My goal this summer, I know, was it Carr and Ziggy did a cheap antenna challenge. I think was the
Yeah, Ziggy's $20 challenge.
I'm not
20
quite sure how to help you with that. Now playing.
hang on just a second.
Do you have a man Siri or girl Siri? Oh, yeah, we lost his audio.
What's that?
Do you have a man Siri or a girl Siri?
I have a man Alexa.
Oh, Alexa. Yeah, yeah. you
I
said
couldn't
that
I
earlier,
couldn't
Alexa.
I couldn't handle the female Alexa talking back to me. It was like being married to my wife.
I talked back to her and she goes, I don't understand that. You better.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's funny though.
Yeah, Don. Fax. Yeah, Tim. Fax him a copy at 4,800 baud fax over POTS. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I think this summer I want to do some videos on some antennas. There's hundreds of antenna designs in there, and we generally only focus on the same 5 or 6 types of antennas. Are they the best ones? Are they not? I don't know. Is there something better in the book? Is there a gem in the book that we haven't seen? Mike made a pretty cool one not too long ago for that antenna challenge that Ziggy did, and that's cool. And I'm not saying that you have to spend $1 million. It is definitely cheaper to build than buy, but sometimes buying is the way to go.
Well, Tim, you also have to remember, Ape has had that book for what, at least a year or two now. So any antennas that we think of, Carr's probably already 6 months into development on them.
Oh no! I'm not talking about like for a sale. I'm talking about doing it to make a
Oh,
video, to do
just
something
to do
Oh, I
different,
know. But
to have
you know,
something.
Car's probably
You
6 months into getting them ready
well,
anyway.
I don't know. I don't think and I'll give Ape a pretty good thing. This just got translated to English, so unless Ape can read German, I
I
I don't know
think
how he's had it for that long.
I don't know, but I think Salty Walt's been doing a few more original, not original as his, but has bringing some of these antennas to the public probably before Cars has. I remember watching him when he was in Poland multiple times.
Mhm.
All these different antennas that he would do. He probably got them from the book. I know he has the book, and he's well versed in making his own antenna. So, but it doesn't really matter because we're all just doing it. If you see someone doing it, it's like, oh, I want to try that. Hey, I bet we could build that and sell it. That's a cool idea too. It doesn't matter who
So-
did it first, but I know that not everyone that sells them actually came up with them. Like the Robikoff one, was it the Poseidon? I still got to finish mine.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, Mike
Mike did it too.
he did a Rybakov before the Poseidon came available.
Yep. Yes, he did. But I think he might have gotten the idea from Salty Walt.
Now, Don, they're never off the table for me. It's just I'll have some extra solderoids to them. That's all.
Mm. Imagine having to carry all those solderoids around in your pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In your
In all
britches.
your pockets, in your pants pockets, the front, the back, your jacket pockets,
Right.
your shirt pockets.
No. I put them all in the back of my hoodie right here.
I was about to say in your hoodie too.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think just getting out there. Now, it's not my cup of tea. I still have to get my antennas built. I still have two different antennas I want to build that I haven't got to finish yet. But I think if people want to go out there and try different antennas like Mike's been doing and Walt's been doing, and many others have been doing, may not have been videotaping everything, but do it. Go out and play around. If you have the time to fill around with the wires and all that stuff and the balance and whatever else you need to do, that's cool. And if you have the time to do it during the summer, that's even better. I
So
normally
Mike
do not.
Mike has time to weigh in on statements in the thing, but
Yeah.
can't grace us with his presence. But
Yeah.
no, I'm giving you a hard time, Mike.
I know Walt
but
did.
there
I
you
think
go.
Walt did get it from G5TM. I remember Walt saying that he got it from somewhere else. I'm not saying that they were his. I'm just saying that he brought them to the public after someone else did. So, but it's cool. I mean, it's a chain. That guy Tim G5TM did it, then Walt did it, then Mike did it, and other people did it, and other people did it, and other people did it, and someone wanted to build one and sell it. That's cool. That's pretty darn awesome. I watched this. I think I watched the skeleton video. I didn't get it. I have to watch it again. Mike, drink some coffee.
There you go. Don says, what's more fun than building an antenna and running 1,500 watts to it? It's putting Christmas lights up and putting 1,500 watts to those.
Didn't someone
can do
do that?
Once.
Didn't Josh did that? I think.
Yes.
He does. He does something like that every year.
Well, yeah, I know he's done the an antenna stuff. I've caught some of them, but I remember he did when he did the Christmas lights.
Which year of Christmas lights, Jeff?
I don't remember. It's probably at least 2 years ago, maybe. But
this year was this past December was his 7th year of doing it, and yeah, you can run 1,500 watts through the lights once.
Let's see what happens. Yeah, once.
Oh no, it was the last or second to last live stream in December that he did, and I'm sorry, ring is being blown up right now because a new fire started in West Hollywood, and everybody's like, "Do I need to evacuate?" No, folks, only evacuate if LA County Fire or CDF, aka Cal Fire, tell you to do so. Otherwise, stay put.
There's our public announcement there. Public service announcement, folks, from California. Right
Yeah,
from
but
Frank's mouth.
my phone, because I'm on my friend's ring system because we share our rings, and not like that. Don't even go there, guys. Not like that. But we share our ring systems,
We
and
said, why did you think
get
we were going to go that way? I mean, it's
Tim.
California.
I
It's
I
California.
it's
It's perfectly
California. I
acceptable to
know
share
everybody.
your buddy's ring.
Yep. All
Actually, it's a
kinds
gal
of
pal.
rings.
It's a gal pal. So there you go. But yeah, and
How do you
everybody's
define a gal
blown up
pal?
with. Everybody's blown up with. Do I need to? Let's hear. Does anyone think Koreatown needs to evacuate? No, Koreatown is nowhere near any of the fires right now, people.
Yeah, fun times. Dealing with
Great
those kind of
time.
people.
So I was watching Greg K6EGG's
Mm-hmm.
stream earlier today, and he was piping in both public safety tower cameras, chopper video. It was kind of interesting to watch it, and he was bouncing between pertinent stuff, so it wasn't like you were sitting and just listening to people drone on and on and on. The moment they stopped saying things that were relevant, they he shifted to another thing, and he was also piping in audio from the local repeater.
Was he sharing CDF audio though? That's the big question.
What's CDF audio?
California Department of Forestry, aka Cal Fire. Okay,
Oh no,
another
probably not.
tangent. CDF was the proactive agency before the state went, no, we can't cut stuff down anymore. And now Cal Fire is the reactive agency that's left. So
I typed in his chat. I'm like, I think at some point somebody needs to have a serious conversation about forest management in California. And Greg is like, yeah, he goes, I think I played a video of the Orange Man saying something just like that the other day. Or
yeah, see, the problem with it is, Tim, I don't know how down the rabbit hole you want to get with this one. So cut me off if you want me to cut off. The Sierra. I happen to look up and just so the Sierra Club. Yeah, everybody knows the Sierra Club. I hope they're the wildlife protection people out here. It's better.
There he goes.
So
that's Frank.
Went,
get choppy video there, buddy.
Yeah, all right. Funny how that
Yeah.
one works. They went, oh no, we need to save the one-horned purple people eater tree frog and its habitat. Well, we did that by not managing the forest in order to save the habitat. And then the whole habitat burns down, and the one-horned purple people eater tree frog has nowhere to live. Funny
Yeah,
how that
these government agencies and state level agencies, they just have like, oh, you can't do anything here because we got to save this one little fish that
right.
that swims in this little pond in this area on the only place on the planet, and then there's a fire and it destroys it. And they're like, we tried to save it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, stupid people don't get it through their thick head. 99.9% of all living animal species that have ever been on this planet are gone. Long gone. They are extinct.
And so now we as in not Californian the way most might think of it, but we as Californians are now suffering for those bad decisions. And
it's the fact that people think so small. They think their lifetime matters, and that saving like the little fishy or the little frog or the little mosquito bug or whatever is going to make a difference in the world. No,
And
your life doesn't even make a difference in the world, people. It's the fact
Yeah.
that the universe and the time frame of that everything's happened. People complain about climate change. Climate's been changing since day one, people. It has
so
changed, but they're just more aware of it. They're just more conscious of it. It's like, oh, last year it got 120 degrees. It's never been 120 degrees here in the summer. Well, it never snowed in freaking 100 feet of snow in Philadelphia during the Revolutionary War until it did.
right, and that's Jeff. You said one thing that I absolutely agree with there, and people people in California go nuts when I do this. They go, "Oh, it's global warming. It's global warming." No, it's not global warming. It's climate change because historically speaking, we are cooler in some areas than we were in previous times, and we're hotter in other areas than previous times.
Yeah, and I've mentioned it before on other places, but there's something called Milankovitch cycle,
Right.
which basically takes a wide number of different things and their cycles, like the rotation of the Earth and the tilt of the axis and how it wobbles, how the Earth wobbles over a period of like 500,000 years. And then there's other cycles of its rotation and other things. And you make them all, put them together, and there's all these different changes that happen over a period of hundreds of thousands of years to millions of years that you may not see in your lifetime. May not see it for another million years, but it happens and it's always been happening. And people don't understand like all these little, even like the little changes in like weather. It's happened before. It's just we haven't seen it that way before.
I
I mean, we
so
we've never seen the ice age because it ended like 10,000 years ago or 20,000 years ago or something like that, whatever it was. But it happened, and it could happen in another 50,000 years. Come back.
so I look at it this way, and it's a great way, especially for those of us that understand the spherical Earth and how the solar cycle works. It global climate change globally is like our solar cycle. It's very drawn out. It's not every 11 years. It's more like every 1,000 years or every 50,000 years or however long, And so what we know from, as you just said, a new ice age could come around tomorrow. Well, maybe not tomorrow, but you get the idea. And that's going to be unprecedented, of course. But that's how wide the span of our cycle is for climate change. It's, and I tell people it's like our solar cycle because they understand that.
Yeah, it's a lot of people. They don't think on the larger scale. That's the problem. Like a lot of these things have happened over the period of hundreds of thousands, millions of years. Um, temperature, the climate's always been changing. It gets warmer, it gets colder every like 5,000 years or whatever. And people just don't think that. They say, "Oh, we gotta save this little frog. It's endangered. It's the last five of its species in this little wooded
Right.
area." But you don't understand. 99.9.99999% of all species that have ever lived are no longer living. They're extinct,
And Nate,
and people can't grasp how minute that little frog is in the grand scheme of everything in the
I'm
universe.
I'm still
so
hoping
Nate,
to see Bigfoot, by the way.
I
I
hope so too. I hope to
I
yeah,
see
yeah,
aliens too.
I
you,
was
you
I
you know,
was I was activating one night in the park, and I'm out in the uh, nature preserve, in the Scout Ridge Nature Preserve, and a car rolls up, goes down to the end of the thing. He comes back, and I'm wrapping up, and he's just like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" Blah blah blah. Turns out him and a group of guys were coming out there to look for Bigfoot.
you want to know what's funny about that, Tim?
Yep.
Up at my
Yeah.
QTH, so especially Cloverdale for some reason, all around Cloverdale, and I live right up against a hillside, and it's just wild country beyond to the west of my house.
Mhm.
That there have been multiple Bigfoot sightings there, and I'm not a firm believer, but there have been signs that say, yeah, there's probably something similar out there. Absolutely. And I wanted to touch on what Nate and Ed said a couple minutes here. Nate, no, it's not flat. And I can prove that because looking out the cab of that window, the when I look out this window right here, there we go, that window right there. When I look out it, I can see the curve on the straighter section. When we're not doing S curves around stuff, when we're straight track, I can see the curve because the tracks eventually go down the other side outside the line of sight. And Ed, waxing philosophical and science at the same time.
Sounds like a YouTube channel. So Nate brings up this: our human life timeline is a blink in the grand scheme of things.
Yep.
I just watched a video. I have 2 young kids. They're all about dinosaurs right now, and I was showing one of them a video. Chloe Abrams, I think, is the YouTube creator's name, and it's all about dinosaurs and this big dinosaur dig. And she was talking about how we have in history have projected dinosaurs, and we kind of think that they all just lived in this one time, but the time span between like Stegosaurus and T-Rex is longer than the time span between T-Rex and humans.
Yep.
And so it's kind of weird. We just kind of just see it all as stuff back then, but our time, our time span is vast.
Yeah, the dinosaurs started roughly. Now I gotta remember all this stuff. 250 million years ago. That was like the earliest lizards and reptiles.
You're thinking the lyrics to the Bare Naked Ladies song went through your head, didn't it? Don't lie.
No, it didn't. I used to be a geology major in school, so I use a lot of these numbers for different things, and I think about this stuff a lot. But I think I want to say the Permian was 250 million years ago. The Mesozoic era was basically when the dinosaurs roamed the earth, but that lasted for like 250 million years ago to 65 million years ago, roughly, and that's what 140 million years, I think, if I'm 240 million years, something like that. It's a long period of time that they ruled this planet. Now humans have only been around for like 150,000 years, and the majority of that time, we were freaking humping trees and humping freaking animals in the freaking jungle and stuff. I mean, we didn't have a civilization until like maybe less than 10,000 years ago.
Oh.
And Mike's absolutely right. 6 meters has to be Bigfoot's favorite band because it is the magic alien band.
Magic alien band.
Well, okay, because Simon Hamchaz doesn't think that 6 meters exists. It's an alien band, so it's the magic alien band.
Well, if we're going to jump to different things, then
I feel like I got to preface all this. Somehow, thoughts of Coast to Coast AM is coming through my head, and are we the next generation of Art Bell, George Norrie, and whoever that other guy is now? That.
But yeah, we got off the track of amateur radio.
Did we though? I mean,
brontosaurus size off
meters.
the track.
It's
brontosaurus
okay.
size off the track.
You know what? And I just want to throw this out. The one thing, and one of the reasons I picked the Ham Radio Kids table, besides all the other stuff and the old people and everything, is that's where all the fun is at, and that's what we are doing. We are having fun, sitting around the kids table, talking smack.
Mm-hmm.
And
so there we go.
And for those that I'm sure there's someone in the chat that's going, why isn't Frank looking right? Well, normally when I'm set up,
looking left.
Yeah, I'm actually looking left. This is to my left. So when I'm set up for live streaming, whether it's at my house or here on the road, I have my laptop screen and then an external screen to my left always for whatever else. Well, my laptop screen, all it shows is a little cursor right about here on the screen. That's all it shows. So my only screen working right now is my external monitor. So the camera's right here, and you guys are over here. You guys are over there. There we go. Over here.
It's okay.
So,
Frank, it's okay.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So people, this is why I'm looking this way and not
No,
at the camera.
Did anybody say something?
No, but I figured, it's going through people's heads like, hey, Frank's not looking the way he normally does.
I'm not looking at my camera. I'm offside.
I'm not. Yeah,
I just noticed this.
Chat.
So I just noticed this thing. Joe Brett and I must share a tailor. Him and I have this same I like these flannels. They're thicker, right? But they remind me of like furniture from the 70s. And I saw Joe Brett last night in the clubhouse with his on, and I'm thinking, man, that guy's got some good taste.
All right,
I just been wearing sweatshirts. I just been wearing sweatshirts during the winter, like this one.
Good night, Mike.
Good night, Mike. Have good dreams.
Are you activating early in the morning?
He probably is. That's why he has to be up at 4 a.m.
Fudge that.
I don't get up any earlier than I have to.
I wish I could say that. I fight to wake up sometimes to get out of bed.
My day started 3 hours ago. It's coffee in here, literally.
But anyways, how about that amateur radio stuff?
Yeah. Oh, so without giving too much away.
Is that your hip there, Jeff?
No, that was the plastic floor thingamajiggy desk floor thing.
So without giving too much away, I am having a live stream on Friday. It's a CQ Chit Chat special. You guys are just gonna have to come check it out. I'm having a very special guest on.
Post in the Discord again because I can't remember. I almost forgot about it.
I'll post a reminder.
No, in our Discord.
Yeah, I'll post.
Okay. I knew I should have put it in my calendar.
Yeah, I try to cover all the Discords when I actually, and it's just one person. So, your third pot, Chris, are you going to be able to sleep tonight? Or are you one of those night walkers that you're up all night like me for work?
I think the only way I could drink that much coffee is if it was like freezing in my house, and I only did that to keep warm.
Oh, what is this? This is a
bundled up
30-ounce tumbler. Yes, I actually had to look at the bottom. Really? Okay. 30-ounce tumbler, and that's all the coffee that I'm going to have. But I'm going to have a Red Bull in about 6 hours just to keep going.
I don't think I've ever had a Red Bull that I can remember, at least. So I probably was. I could have been drunk when I did drink a Red Bull. It might have been part of a drink. I don't remember.
You'd know if you had a plain Red Bull because it literally smells like bleeping. Front ass. Yeah, front ass. We'll go front ass. How's that?
No, let's not. Let's not.
I don't think I have. At least I can't recall ever drinking one. But yeah.
So
but how about the amateur radio stuff?
So we'll come back to that. Yeah, Nate.
Going to Nate here. He said that he sees the Gigaparts is going to be doing another one of those let's make a deal things. I tell you what.
Is that with Jason again?
No,
on their own.
Are they going to do their own?
No, it is with the other Frank this Sunday on his channel for his birthday.
I remember. Yeah, they said that.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. I mean, I tell you what, I think Oh yeah, hey, don't forget to like the stream and subscribe to the channel. And what's the other one here? I know you have more than one YouTube account. Make sure you subscribe to the channel from every one of them.
Roger, no,
And
it does
make
not.
sure your kids subscribe to the YouTube channel also because they have Google School accounts.
Roger, no, it does not.
I think it
Absolutely not.
does.
No, it does not.
Mixed with vodka.
No.
I actually would probably would like to try it with Jaeger mixed with Jägermeister. I love Jägermeister.
You'll hate Jägermeister after that. I'll guarantee that.
Well, we used to do shots of Screaming Nazis before we got on the stage at a few different bars. They'd light you up. And was it Screaming Nazis and something with the Goldschlager?
Oh,
Something with Rumpelmintz and was it Rumpelmintz and Jaeger? I think that was the Screaming Nazi. Then there was something with Goldschlager and something else. We didn't care about.
I'm sure glad I've moved beyond those days.
Oh, I am too. I miss the taste of the alcohol. Like I miss the taste of like ice cold beer. Vodka. Yeah, I drank a bottle of whiskey in college and then puked it all up, and I never went back to it again. My friend had a similar experience with peach schnapps.
Oh, God.
But I do miss alcohol. I miss beer. I miss the different. I remember going to like Texas and trying all these different beers and going to the bar and getting a big fat, what was it, pounder of PBR or other beers and stuff like that. It's just I just miss it. But anyway,
no.
I don't miss the hangovers. I used to hate the hangovers. I used to go to work with hangovers all the time. It was miserable.
Roger, really? Sorry, I'm paying attention to this fire update. Yeah, that one.
Roger, I feel like there is some truth to that. Yeah, I don't know.
It was good for you when you had a cold. I never stopped smoking or drinking when I got a cold. If I went out, I'd still smoke and drink. I rarely drank at home, but eventually every once in a while. No, that's a lie. I remember I used to drink at home.
To me, I don't know. I've always been I need to go out and be social. So if I'm in a social setting, I'll drink a beer or two, and but not anymore. I've never really drank it. We have beer here, and a lot of times the beer hits the expiration date before it ever gets drank. I'll buy, like, I'll cook with beer, like I'll make a chili or something like that with beer in it, and I'll have to buy like at minimum a 6-pack, and then that's it. Although I think now they've got in some of the liquor stores you can go in and buy mix and match one-offs. Usually the stuff that you could get, like the singles, were not like the best beer in the world. So, but now they're a little bit more creative on what you can get. So, and then my wife did not drink at all up until like 3 years ago. She's just like, let me try a beer. And so we started going out and having dinner. And, I think it was a way of getting rid of getting away from the kids.
Yep.
And we could go out and have dinner and everything like that. And then she had the stroke, and then they put her on blood thinners. And because of that, she couldn't drink for a year and a half or so.
Yeah.
And so now we're back to, we went on that little staycation thing, and we went to a place that had flights of beer. So we got, I don't know, 4 or 5 little 4-ounce 5-ounce beers and shared them and tried them, and that was fun. It was nice, but no, I'm not drinking my problems away. I'll tell you that.
Oh, no.
I used to drink my problems away. I used to drink
Rogers-
just to go to bed.
Yeah, Roger says Southern Comfort was his nemesis.
Yeah, I can't. I was it. Yeah, it was Southern Comfort. I tried it afterwards, and it's like, no, I still can't do it. And
It was a
bad
little
thing,
sweet for me.
it was just bad tasting to me. My thing was, did I say Jack or just whiskey earlier? I don't remember. But my thing was a bottle of Jack Daniels, Old Faithful Jack Daniels. But yeah, you live and learn. I do miss drinking. I do miss going out. And if I go out, it's like I don't want to go out to the scene that I was in before, just because they all smoke, they all drink. But I did go out. It was about 2 years ago, maybe last year. There's a kind of like a reunion at a bar, and I had fun. I didn't drink, and but I wanted to go out and see all these old people that still go out and do the same thing. Still, a lot of them have moved on, but yeah, I was able to have my fun. But I do miss going out when I was younger. Now I'm too old for that stuff, and I don't drink and I don't smoke because it's just it'll kill me faster. Now that I know.
I'm sort of lucky I'm in the job I am. We're not allowed to drink 72 hours prior to a shift. And with how often I work, I don't get 72 hours between shifts. Except for,
So if you work 5 days a week, you would never be able to drink.
yeah, and I work more than 5 days a week. I have six and 3/4 days worth of work. Don't ask me how the 3/4 works. That's a whole different discussion. But we'll call it 6. But 6 and 3/4 days of work this week alone. If I were to drink, it would be Captain Jack and Coke, because that is just the best combination ever. No Jose Cuervo, though. Do not get me near Jose. No way, Jose.
Jose Cuervo, you are a friend of mine.
No,
I like to drink you with a little salt and lime.
No friend of mine here, that's for sure.
I had a friend from Ireland, like straight off the boat, Irishman. He would make us do shots of Jameson, and I can't repeat what he said. It's because it is like, I think, the worst curse word you could use.
Could you understand him?
Oh yes, I could. And he'd say, "Drink it up, you blankety blank." And
Did it start with a C word? Did it start with a C? And
the first was an F word. The second one was a C word.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
That's like a.
But he was like he's the nicest freaking guy, but he just makes you drink.
Jeff, that's a compliment coming from an Irishman.
That's what I was saying. Yeah, that's a compliment.
Yeah, he's a great guy. There's other Irish people that I've known. They're not off the boat Irish or American Irish that were drinking since they were 16 and recovering alcoholics since they were 16. So, yeah, those are some other nice memories. I have.
So I've been drinking in bars since I was 19.
Me too.
17. And actually,
Montreal.
Earlier than that. So I was in the Navy when they were still in that transitional period where a lot of states had gone to 21, and that was the national drinking age at that point. But because of so many people in the military, they were allowing on-base purchases of alcohol. So that, and living in Southern California, we used to roll down to Tijuana.
Yep.
Going back to our earlier. Okay, now I forgot what I was going to say. It just literally popped out. Ignore me.
All right. Yeah.
Okay.
Canada was 18 when I was in high school.
Yeah.
There we go. that reminded me. Saying 18 reminded me. While I wasn't the rebel child, I wasn't a goody two shoes, but I was on the goody two shoes side of the line. But I was a slight rebel, and unfortunately, I didn't do any drinking until I was 21. Other stuff, though,
You,
I won't get into that. But other stuff, yeah.
Frank, you were probably part of a little hoodlum street gang of Motorola HT guys, weren't you?
You know, actually, and
Here it
this
comes. You and
this, this,
Shane. You and
this might
Ginger Shane.
right, Queefy. This might surprise people. I was a theater kid, but I wasn't the on. I wasn't
No.
the performing theater kid. I was the little nerd in the light and sound booth doing the light and sound stuff.
Yeah, you pretty get along with
So,
a friend of mine.
so I was on that side, you know. So there was some rebellion, but I was also, you know, very much goody two shoes.
Yeah, I straddled the line. I mean, I got all my stuff done. I didn't have a hard time in high school, but it's all fun and games till I got out of those regular classes and got into the fun ones like band that you could do stuff with
Right.
and weekends cause chaos. Yeah, I'm looking at this and it's like 18. It's like, yeah, I was 17 in Montreal.
Ed knows exactly what I'm talking about. Absolutely, Ed. Yep.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
got a friend that that used to do stage stuff for one of the large theaters here in Delaware. Now I don't know what he does now. They actually hired him back as like a contractor, which is a dick move to do.
So that's where, you know, I got all between that and my grandfather helping me with photography when I was younger. That's where I got all my great lighting and setup skills for my photography, and well, I'm working on my videography.
Yeah, it's
Same
stuff you gotta
concept.
learn. Yeah,
It's
it's
just you're shooting 30 frames a second versus one.
yeah,
Yeah.
Same
like you
concept.
consider like the same thing with music. I mean, I've recorded music a lot in like late teens and 20s, and doing the video thing just seems kind of like a natural thing. You're not doing it with audio, you're doing it with video. So you understand like the transitions between clips
Right.
and and how you edit something, and like that AI song that I did, like um I kissed an 891. Um I got it completed. The AI did it, and then I took it and edited it apart and made it like an extra minute longer than it was. It's
Uh,
it's it's easier to do now with digital. We used to do it with 1 inch tape,
Hmm.
Tascam tape.
Yep.
Um, I remember doing it in the studio. They'd take a razor blade, slice it, and put two other pieces together with clear tape. I remember doing that in the studio. It's the
So
same thing. It's just a different medium, and it's the 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 things just kind of fall into the next medium that you're using. The same principles. It just takes time to figure that out, and once you do, it just clicks in your head.
Ed brought this up here. Have I ever set off the fire alarms with smoke machines? Ed, if you haven't, you're not doing theater right, son. Come on
They
now.
they
Have
they
you set
actually
off the fire alarms?
they actually have changed that now. It's water vapor, so it doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but we're
Cooley's asking here. He's asking, what instrument did you play, Jeff?
Well, we had three drummers in our band, and the band couldn't have three drummers in the band. So there's the drummer. The other person went to play guitar, left-handed, upside down, so he wasn't still playing the incorrect way. Um, and then I went was doing keyboards. What's up, Greg?
Oh, Greg's ears must have been burning.
We were
That's
talking
right.
about you earlier, Greg.
That's right. We were talking smack about you.
Chris
Yeah, we
Chris
always like to
Bricker
talk about
brings up
smack.
Chris Bricker brings up a good point. Digital these kids and their digital not gonna work at all. As far as digital not lasting, I'm not too sure about that, Chris. I mean, yeah, that film is still where it should be at, absolutely, but digital is what it is, you know. And I went over this the other night on my last Friday on my Q&A. The developing my own film gave me my migraines, so even with well ventilated areas, so not going to happen for me. I'll stick to my digital.
Hey, look there.
Look
It's
who's
Greg.
here.
Oh, am I in here?
Great.
You are in
Oh,
here.
I better not pick my nose now. I almost
No.
did.
Hey, sorry we don't have the high production value that you have on your stream.
What are you talking about? This looks fine to me. Looks great.
Man,
We're getting our
It's
I
like
point
know,
my
across,
max
right?
headroom buffering on my video tonight.
that's you, Frank.
I blame this stupid PC.
Reboot
Well,
the
whose
I mean,
fault is that?
PC.
Jeff's video and audio is stellar tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could never tell on our end. It's always on the other on the YouTube end of it that it was messed up, which is just messed up.
I'm just lucky I have power right now. Who knows
So,
what's going
Greg,
on around
are
here?
you following the new fire that's popped up?
I just did. That's why I was going to come up here a little bit earlier, but yeah, I was watching that Hollywood Hills. I actually know somebody that lives right there, so
I
he was
have
posting some stuff.
I have friends in K-Town, so they're sort of freaking out. I'm like, it's gonna be fine. Relax. If anything happens, I'll tell you before you're told officially.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, but I've
Oh,
never
yeah.
seen it like this. How you folks doing tonight? I love the lighting, by the way, Tim. Looks
Oh,
good.
thank you. Yeah.
We
Just
got
a
the
little
red and blue fight
strip
off
of
up there.
LEDs and
And it looks like Frank there is going to get hit by a train, so
Yeah.
just stay right there. Just kidding.
Yeah.
But the porta potty on the front of
Awesome.
the train. And we all learned tonight that the porta potties on the trains are right there in the front. There's a door right there in the front that you can't really
Yeah, well,
see.
No.
But so if the train hits anything while you're in the porta potty, you're dead.
So
Oh.
right above my finger there's a. Well, let me get it the right way. Yeah, there we go. Right next to my finger, there's a little window there. That's the door to get into the cab. Just to the right of that door, right behind those headlights there, that's where the bathroom is.
oh, so you go up, you go in through the engine compartment?
No, the engine's to the rear.
Oh, it's a rear engine.
It's mid-engine
They all
or
are.
whatever.
That's weird.
And no, Chris, I didn't try soldering something onto the computer. It decided to crash on me after I was trying to open a second browser to do something, and it hasn't come back online because it's wind blows. I have one monitor that's not even working, and the other one that, well, it's half working.
I gotta say, this is nice. I don't have to lead anything. I'm just gonna just enjoy
Yeah,
this.
Got to chill
Normal-
out.
I was sitting there talking away today. I didn't get
You
to do a
were.
normal stream today. I didn't feel it was appropriate. I was gonna do a POTA today, but
Why?
very-
Why would you feel it's not appropriate?
people are getting evacuated everywhere around here, and I don't know.
I mean, you did a stream. You're providing a
Yeah.
service, right? So
Yeah,
you got information out. You disseminated
Yeah.
information, and that was good.
So, Greg, what I want to
Yeah.
know, where was the CDF
Hang on just a
audio
second here.
for your live stream today?
where was the what?
The CDF audio, the Cal Fire audio.
I did not have any of that available.
Oh,
I was actually going to hook up my scanner and everything. Then it was kind of easier just to do the app, and I don't know. A lot of it wasn't Cal Fire. A lot of it's LA County and LA City that's actually taking care of it because of the way
But
where the stuff
they're,
was at.
they're on Cal Fire frequencies.
So last night when I was listening to it, they were on a lot of LA County Fire, 482.
They've switched
something or
over.
other. They switched over. Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys not have a unified trunking system that they just have talk groups and they can interoperate?
They have something called what, Claymars? Is that what they have down here?
That's old school. No, they
Yeah.
have CalCord. That's the
But-
analog side.
By the way, I just saw a question in there. I wasn't looking at the chat because I'm not used to this setup here. I'm using an Sony A6400, and I'm actually running it in 4K. But I don't think this is 720p. It's
1080.
1080.
Yeah. Is it 1080?
1080, yeah.
It said it's only taking 720 5994.
If you go to the little gear setting in there,
Oh,
and,
maybe it can
you
make it
can-
look better for you folks.
you can open up your
Let me take a
your
look.
video to 1080.
Yeah,
Oh,
I've gotten.
I will do that. I just did
Yeah,
that.
You look good.
There you
I
go.
mean, you
Hopefully
know,
it looks a
Sound
little
good.
better. All right. Sorry about that. I didn't know. I wanted to be as clean as I can. So this is the best I can do.
you're so fresh and so clean.
It's so fresh, so clean. As long as I have
Right.
power.
Yeah. So you when I asked earlier, you said you were about 50 miles from those.
Yeah.
Are you on the other side of the county then? Is that
Yeah, I'm actually on the very eastern side of. I'm in San Bernardino County, but my city
Okay.
connect is right next to LA County. I border Pomona, which is in the very eastern part of LA County. I'm way far away from it. 50 miles in LA is huge. But
Yeah.
I do know a lot of people now more so are getting affected. They've canceled some sporting events here today, maybe tomorrow. I'm just worried when the wind shifts. I think that will affect me a little more. Because generally the ocean breeze comes off of out of the west, and that's where all the smoke is sitting. So it's sitting over the Pacific right now. That's going to flip around in 2 days, and it's going to be pretty gnarly. I'm not looking forward to that. So hopefully all the embers get burnt up before they head this way too.
that would be nice.
I'm digging through my
Tim-
stuff here to find
Tim,
something.
you were in LA? You lived in it or California? I'm sorry.
I live San Diego.
All right. So you know how the geography is here in the
Yeah.
area. And somebody I was mentioning earlier, people were saying about they were running out of water. It's not really running out of water necessarily here. It's the fact that the lines are getting busted and the pumping stations are having issues, and it's just a big mess all happening at once. There you go. There's Southern California,
Yeah.
the People's Republic.
There you go.
So, Greg, I'll send this to you in your Discord DMs. But VTAC 1314, VFire 24, 25, 26, and CAL FIRE TAC 27 and 28 are what's assigned for tactical channels.
Okay, I'm looking that up right now.
Are those all encrypted or are they
No, all
Analog.
analog VHF.
surprised California doesn't encrypt everything?
They're getting there. I'll tell you that right now. They're getting there.
So
Yes,
you
they
said
are.
you're out in San Bernardino area?
San Bernardino County. So if you look
Oh,
on that map, where the you see the
Oh, here's
number
here's
50
Chino's.
exactly.
Chino
I'm
Hills,
actually
okay.
I'm actually Chino, which is about just north of that and to the right. Yeah, there
There
you
it
go.
is.
I'm right.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm just right.
Oh, hey, there's Greg's house right
there's
there.
my house. You see my
Yeah.
you see my antenna
Oh,
right there. See my
I see.
X50A?
Yeah, no wonder you're getting all that RFI.
Exactly.
You're right there by the Talon factory
I've never even heard of that.
and the
That looks like
the
downtown there.
and the East Sarang Community Church. Man, they fire up that pipe organ and you get 40 meters is flooded.
That looks like Schaefer right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, looking at that reminds me of looking like at a transistor chip with all the circuit chips and stuff.
That's downtown right there. Yeah.
Oh gosh.
You can actually slide over to my house there to the right. I could probably zoom you in there. Go right about there, stop right there, and start to slowly go in to the left. Yeah. And maybe this might be harder. Actually,
Howard
actually
County.
pretty darn close right there. Keep going.
How far are you from the elementary school? There's like two
Goes,
elementary schools.
yeah,
No wonder your taxes are so high.
yeah.
There's two elementary schools within a block of each
See
other.
where the E is in the elementary school? There's street or the Edwin. There's a road. Just follow that up a little bit, and I'm like 4 streets up to the right.
In this neighborhood right here?
Yep. Keep going.
Oh, so you literally got 2 elementary schools right outside your neighborhood.
And my daughter doesn't go to either of them. Right there. That's right there. She goes to a school like 5 miles away.
Oh yeah, there's the Tesla right there.
Pretty close. Up one more street to the right.
Here, now I'm seeing why you have all your RFI issues.
Yeah,
look at all those solar panels.
Lots of pool pumps.
Oh,
I didn't know they had a pool right there.
I thought you had a hill in your backyard.
No, I can see my house there up to the right. I wish I could point right there. Right, it's almost in the center to the right of that. That's my house there. Where all the solar panels there. There's a pool with no solar panels. A house with a pool with no solar panels. I'm to the right of that.
On this court.
6440. Yep. 6440 right there to the
right
left
here.
of your screen.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
That's me. That's
Well,
why
no
I don't have a lot of big backyard there too.
you
Later,
you have a well manicured yard. Look at that.
Those trees look tasty.
What yard?
Ah,
Those yards are.
look at that. Look at that grass. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That's real grass though. I'm proud of that.
I saw the video that you did from your backyard with the winds blowing and everything.
Oh,
and you
yeah,
pan
it was
across
cool.
your yard. I was impressed with mine is covered with snow right now.
Ooh.
So what's fun, and Greg probably doesn't know this unless he's been watching for a little bit. If you zoom out just far enough, like back to a general overview of
He's
LA
like
area.
he's like, yeah, that's where I live, right there.
No, right at the top right of the screen when you were zoomed out there. That's about where I'm at right now.
You're out here down here? Or you're down here right now?
I'm over in Barstow.
Oh, the Barstow's pretty far.
Pretty far. Right, it's a 2-hour
2.5
drive to
hours
downtown
away.
LA.
in the bar
Right
stool.
through your neighborhood.
So
I might be closer to the Jeff than I am
is
Frank
it
right now.
2 hours because of distance or 2 hours because of traffic?
Distance.
No, that's a
Add
distance
another
thing.
hour because of traffic.
Really?
This hour there'll be a little traffic through that pass right there. You see where Lytle Creek is,
Cajon
right at
Pass?
the center of the
Yeah.
screen. Yeah.
I have no point of, I guess, reference, right? Looking at that, to me, is that half the state?
No,
No,
it's
it's about
it's
quarter of
actually,
the
if you see the Las Vegas there, it's almost smack dab halfway in between. I guess Baker would probably be closer
Okay.
than halfway, but yeah, you guys know I go to Vegas a lot, and I go through
I'm out in
Barstow
the high
quite a bit.
desert to the east there.
There's where you
I
used to
mean-
party right there in Tijuana.
So yeah, so when I was younger, this is where I lived, right here, not with these stupid littoral combat ships. And I mean, so my sister and brother-in-law lived in Chula Vista, so I mean, I had that point of reference, and then the other one was down in Tijuana, right? So Imperial
Revolution
Beach,
Street.
yeah, Imperial Beach, all that stuff. Silver Strand is where I hung out, and then we would go up into downtown San Diego and drink and hang out. So yeah, like getting places, I don't have a super I had a truck that when I was out there, and El Cajon, I guess that was the other one. We used to go out to El Cajon all the time. So I guess that reference there of going from the naval station out to El Cajon, but that was about it. And Santee. We go to Santee
Santee's
a
pretty
lot.
nice. My cousin
Yeah.
used to live there. Beautiful.
We went to there was a joint that if you got there before 5:00, it was a steak restaurant, your dinner was half off. And so we would race out there. There'd be a group of us come running out there and get in the door at like 4:59. And they would always be nice. It's a bunch of sailors, right? So they would always be nice and give us the 50% off for the effort.
Pinnacle Peak, maybe? That sound familiar? That was a pretty famous restaurant out there. I don't know if you remember.
It's been a while, but
Yeah.
I would probably remember the name if I saw it.
San Diego's a great city. Downtown's probably a lot different than when you were there last. It's gone
So
this
it was,
way as most of California has gone,
yeah,
unfortunately.
it was really nice. They were big on revitalizing the downtown. They had the Gaslight District and all that with all the shops and the bars and the restaurants and the fun stuff. We had the Kansas City Barbecue and Grill,
Mm.
which was there on Harbor. That was our ship's bar. And so
People may know that place.
Top Gun
Yep.
was 5 years out, maybe. And so it was a huge international attraction. Anybody that would come to San Diego would come over there. And let's just say I had a fair amount of fun partying when I was a younger, strapping lad that was in the United States military.
Fun times, I bet.
Oh, it was fun. It was a fun
Yeah.
time.
I know I wasn't in the military at all. During my beginning of my career, I used to work down at Padres in the early to mid '90s, and we would definitely go
Jack
party.
Murphy.
Jack Murphy.
Jack Murphy Stadium, not this
Murph.
Petco crap
No,
or whatever
it's
they
all-
call
yeah.
it now.
Well, Petco's that's a whole different facility, but they called it Qualcomm. They called it something else.
Yeah.
Something Barracuda Network, something or other. I don't know, but
Was it
yeah, it's
Barracuda
always
too?
the Murph. There was something else other than Qualcomm. I can't remember what it was, but we used to go down to. We hung out in the hotel circle, and we'd go down to TJ if we had an early game, and stay until we had to go back to work, and then work all day, and then go back. San
Basically,
Diego's.
Go ahead.
San
Basically,
Diego's a
whoever,
very special place for me. I'm sorry, man.
no problem. And whoever paid the highest amount to name the stadium that week is what the name was.
Corporation.
That's stupid.
You know, we have this around here. And I don't know about other areas, but these areas where corporate interests have come in and started naming things, and they change. People around here don't necessarily refer to them. They refer to them by their original names and not so. The RCA Dome was originally the Hoosier Dome when it first, and people called it the Hoosier Dome until they imploded it, and really refused to call it by whoever paid the naming rights. Deer Creek is a nice outdoor music venue. It's had 17 names over the last 20, 25 years, and everybody still refers to it as Deer Creek.
Well, the things in Philadelphia, they just destroyed them, and then they built new things and then gave them new corporate names. They had Veterans Stadium, where the Eagles and the Philadelphia Phillies played. They had concerts there, large concerts, college football games. They had, I think it was JFK Stadium next to it, where they had other college games. That's where they had Live Aid in Philadelphia. And then they had the Spectrum, which was the Flyers, the Sixers, concerts. And I remember seeing Bailey Barnum's Ringling Brothers, Barnum Bailey Circus there.
They
when I
had
was a little
5 times in a
kid.
row.
Yeah. And that was like and other things they did there too. But they tore them all down and built new buildings with they have the Lincoln Financial Stadium, Citizens Park for the different, for Citizens Bank. I forget what they named the hockey basketball place.
First Union, I believe, or something.
Could
Because we
be.
called it the FU Center.
Yeah,
They
I
sucked
haven't
to
been
work
up there
in.
for so long to those places. So I remember the Spectrum. I never went to RFK that I can remember. I might have been a young kid, but I remember going to the Vet Stadium a lot to see football games, college and a few Eagles games, but mostly college games.
Yeah, it was originally called the First Union Center, and then they changed it to Wells Fargo or something like that at some point.
Yeah. But
If you.
you can find on Facebook they have retro T-shirt companies that do like things for your area, and they had like the Spectrum, and I thought about getting it, but I'm like, nah, doesn't mean that much. But I like those places back then. I remember the Vet Stadium was a pretty cool place.
We
Pac
still
Bell.
have Dodger Stadium, believe it or not. They haven't.
Well, I think if they tore that down, there'd be a freaking mass riot in California.
Yeah, they're not tearing that down in my lifetime. I can guarantee that.
Pac Bell
just-
will always be Pac Bell. I don't care what they call it today.
The Giants place.
Yeah,
The Giants.
it's Oracle
yeah.
now, but
Yeah.
it's Oracle Park, but it's always Pac Bell.
I think so many. Yeah, I don't know. There are some really old stadiums that probably should be and need to be replaced at some point. But I look here in Indianapolis. They tore down the Hoosier Dome, and it was only like 20 years old, and built Lucas Oil Stadium. Now we're still paying taxes for the Hoosier Dome, which and it doesn't even exist anymore.
Yep.
The now Lucas Stadium is nice, but they need to get more than 20 years out of those things. Chicago, I like Soldiers. I remember going to Chicago when I was a kid, watch Bears games, stuff like that. And, and they've now added to it. They've gone up with it and have added, and it's a mixture of the old and the new, and that's cool. But unfortunately, some of these, the reason that the Hoosier Dome is gone, I'm sure, is because the Colts were like, we're going to go find somebody else, somewhere else if we can't get a new stadium, because the stadium didn't have enough seats in it or didn't, stay up with the latest trends and sports entertainment.
A lot of money floating around sports,
Oh, there is.
and it's
There is.
normally taxpayer money.
Yeah.
Either
Yep.
people paying the taxes or we're having to pay the taxes on it. Billionaire's toys. But
That's why I like living.
the guy that owns the Clippers, whatever his name, Ballmer, he paid 100% cash on his own, and I work in that facility there. The Intuit Dome, I think it's called. I call it the Clipper Dome. That thing is beautiful. They spared no expense in that place. People there are great. Everybody's really nice. They're still having some teething problems as far as having stuff and operate correctly, but they'll get it dialed in. It's nice that it's not taxpayer money. And across the street, where the Rams and Chargers play, I believe that's privately funded by the Kroenke, whatever his name is. I don't follow NFL, but
if the franchise is going to pay for it or cover a big part of it, more power to them. And they can negotiate that. But when the taxpayers are footing the bill for it, I get it. There's economic value in having a sports team in your community. But I think at a certain point there has to be a balance between it.
what are you guys coming up for ham radio? I know it's the winter. It's hard to do POTA and stuff like that. We could sit in your
What
nice
do you mean
warm.
What do you mean
I
it's
did,
hard to do POTA?
I made 50 some contacts last night and it was 10 degrees outside.
Well, some people they only have like setups outside. They don't have a setup in their car or whatever. Don't like to go out. I mean, there's probably less people doing POTA, I'm assuming.
Yes,
Greg,
there
you
there
just got to
are
ham harder.
less people. Well, there's a lot of
That's
older
right.
people that don't like to go out in the cold, and I don't blame them. But I started in the winter. I'm still doing it in the winter, so I just haven't done anything since New Year's Day. Just been busy with stuff.
It's only 9 degrees out right now over here. I don't know why anyone wouldn't want a POTA.
Did you say 9 or 90?
9. Niner.
It's
wait,
9
that's
in
Celsius.
March though.
That's
Celsius?
Celsius. It's 50 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah.
Do that in freedom
Okay.
units.
50.
We're Americans.
That's
no,
right.
no, Greg, I'm sorry. Aren't you the quasi-American?
Well, no, I'm a full-fledged American citizen. I just have dual
With-
citizenship. Doesn't mean
Yeah,
much.
exactly. So you're quasi.
So how do you have dual citizenship?
My dad is Canadian. I have birthright through him.
Gotcha.
So I'm gonna have 2 passports.
Were you
Just-
born in the United States or born in Canada?
Yes, I was born in Long Beach, not too far away from here. Just
Oh yeah, city of Compton.
very close to that, right next door. I don't claim Compton though, and Compton's actually a pretty nice place if you've ever been there. It's not like it is in the movies.
Don't go to the rail yards.
No,
You know, Compton's got some interesting laws on the books in zoning. Did you know that?
No.
Compton was originally a rural community, and they're allowed to have chickens and farm animals and horses in their neighborhoods.
And I know.
Believe
some
it or
people
not, in the
drive
city,
some nuts.
city I live in, Chino's the same way. I think I can have like 1 pig and like 4 chickens, and I have to have more space for a horse. I forget the square footage, but there is horse trails not too far away from here, but less than a block away, and we do see horses dropping stuff from time to time.
Greg,
Oh,
Greg,
yeah.
those are just the new laws going on the books in 2025 and 2026.
Of what?
The
Of-
horses dropping stuff. Those
Oh,
are just
I have-
new laws
I-
being put on the books.
That's what they do. Why would?
Well,
It's true.
I mean that's a valid point. Why would I go do POTA? I don't know. I prefer to go out and be outdoors as opposed to sitting in the house. I mean, I've got a nice setup here at home, but to me, going out in the parks, and I'm not talking about like getting into where shelter houses and where there's people. I prefer to be in the forestries and stuff like that, the wildlife areas where there's not as many people around, and I can enjoy the outdoors and enjoy ham radio at the same time. So
What's funny is Matt loves taking his doublet out to do POTA. He POTAs harder than anyone else in Washington, I swear.
Washington State, was there like 10 people
Yeah.
to do POTA up there?
Yeah, and he's like 9 of them.
And he's like,
What are you trying to say with you need 9 of them?
Because he
Um,
POTAs so often.
I would love to do a POTA up there. I got called to work up there a couple times recently. I couldn't get away from home the last couple weeks. So maybe now things have settled a little bit more, I'll be able to connect with them.
So, Greg,
up
this is a good question. I had asked earlier with people, do you keep gear in your car so when you're somewhere and the moment is right and you've got to park and you can just pull over and jump on the air and do that? Do you do that? One, but two, because you travel for work and you are in areas sometimes where you're there for a few days and you've got some time, do you intentionally take gear with you on a flight or whatever so you can set up at the park and knock out a POTA or something?
Well, as far as locally driving around here, I park in highly populated areas. I do leave my 5100 in the car, which scares me because there's a lot of break-ins in some of these places I work at. So I try not to leave too much in my car. When I travel, unless I'm going to Vegas or maybe like Fresno or something like that, I generally drive, or I generally fly instead of drive. But I have brought gear to Vegas. I was going to try to do Red Rock last trip, but I ended up getting the flu bug. But I did get Lake Mead, Arizona, and Nevada side. When I do fly, I'm going to try to actually connect with some local hams if I get into a city, like I did with a Hamstick Eric there in Honolulu. I had a great time doing a POTA at Sand Island Beach there and just outside of Honolulu there. Incredible time making contacts with local folks here in California, which I've always wanted to do that. That was pretty cool. Hearing like, guys I've talked to in 5.2 and 2 meter sideband and stuff like that. But with me working and having to bring some work gear with me, taking the radio stuff with me might be a little cumbersome. I'm already pretty loaded up between rain gear and cable checkers and whatever else. So I probably won't, but I have in the past bring HTs with me. In fact, not too far away from where you're at there in Indiana, I used to always bring my HT with me because I always make good contacts up there. I'd stay at the Westin in downtown Indianapolis, and I'd usually get the highest floor. And I've made like 50 miles away contacts. So I always had luck there for some reason in Indiana, and I don't know why. They're in Minnesota too.
We have a high, well, what do they call it? It's a wide open, high large footprint repeater in Indianapolis. The antenna is like 400 or 500 feet up in the air. It's on top of a TV tower.
And it's
on a
flat.
TV tower.
It's super flat there.
Well, up in northern Indiana, it's very flat.
Yeah.
Where I live is not.
I made a contact with someone, Carmel, I want to say, from Indianapolis. I think that's north, and it's pretty far up there as far as I understood. And I just had my 5-watt VX5 on a whip in my hotel room. I remember it was dead of winter, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, I hear you perfectly clear." He had a base. I mean, he was bringing me in, but still. Yeah, I just wish I could bring more gear with me. I know when I met up with Seth down in Florida, in Orlando, he brought his Zagu, I think it's called. I'm bad on these names.
Zagu 6100.
Yeah,
The
Shagu.
Shagu.
He attempted to do FT8. Then the first day was unsuccessful. Poor guy was stressed out about it, but
I remember that.
He was stressed out. I'm like, he was so mad. We got off the live stream. He was so mad. He was like pouting. I'm like, dude, come on, man. Things aren't perfect. But he got it going next. So I want to maybe try to connect with people when I get into some cities, and I like to send them a GIF after. I sent Hamstick Eric a nice GIF after for hosting me. Be like a ham radio host. So people are very nice about that, and I wouldn't mind hosting somebody here too.
Greg, going back to Seth, he is an angry New Yorker, so of course he was upset afterwards.
But he was like bummed. He was like quiet. He was so pissed. I felt so bad. I'm like, dude, we're just having fun, man. It worked out. People loved him failing. That was the best part, I think.
And that is what's Matt's name? Or not Matt's name, Snowcone's name. You mentioned it earlier. Oh, it is Matt. Okay. Yeah. So Matt, we were talking about that earlier. Carlos, Life of Terminal Velocity, and Alan, Punk Rock Ham Radio. All three of us live here in Indiana, and we've been looking for a cabin that we can set up and do POTA from, or actually Winter Field Day from, in a park, so we can claim the park too. So that's something that we're looking forward to.
Now, do you guys hear about somebody? I remember I did a live stream like 2 years ago, and somebody was telling me about this ham radio group bought a house like somewhere like in Colorado, which was by nothing, and they made their own power there and stuff, so they didn't have any noise, and they had put up these big giant antennas and everything. You ever heard about that?
So there is out in Missouri, Ward Silver has a contesting group. I don't know if he lives in a house or if it's just a separate house, but it is a house that's dedicated to amateur radio contesting. Kyle AA0Z has got some radios out there. It's a group, and I don't know where they get their power from, but they've got an antenna field and several radios. And I know Kyle, his Flex radios there because like he lives in the city and has noise issues there, so he's got all of his gear out at that place.
I'm sending by the way, I'm sending this
ones.
link out too, so get some more people in here. I posted it in a couple different places. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I posted in the tuber section of your Discord earlier.
Trying to get Dana and 7 UFT in here. That poor guy, his power's been out since last night, I think.
He
lives up
Dana.
in Chino Hills. Shearwood. Okay, so the Bob Shearwood. There we go. I don't know if you're gonna put that in there.
Yeah,
Hmm?
Dustin
Bob.
has it.
Oh, wait a minute. Oh, phew. The night bug got in the way.
Yeah, see, that's why I think that's the one somebody was telling me about. Maybe it was Dustin even telling me about that. That'd be nice, just to like, hey, can we rent this out for like, like an Airbnb ham radio, like clubhouse? We can all come in there and like crash it. Have it K8 MRD go in there and crash it. Just have a ham radio party in there.
Ham Radio Rock Party.
Yeah.
I'm gonna find. We have one in Indianapolis that, and I'm not sure what the story is, but there's a house with several very, very large towers in the yard, and there's this really nice, expensive neighborhood right behind it, and that's in every one of them's field of view.
Later, Chris. Take care.
And by the way, you guys were talking about liking to do POTA or whatever. I have a nice setup here. I love my ICOM 7610, but man, my noise level here sucks. And it's so nice to hear a bunch of new voices when I go do a POTA, just, a couple miles away from my house. These folks I would never be able to bring in at my house with just an S9 of noise, especially on 40. And I'm about an S7 on 20 during the day. It's like, it's so freaking frustrating.
Yep.
And with that question, I think you're a new ATOS owner up there, Jeff. I think I heard that right.
Yep.
Obviously, Tim is. I don't know about Frank. Have you guys tried to do a bigger size whip on it?
That's what Vince was talking about.
Here, let me whip this thing out.
Oh wow, he's.
I've got.
There's Dana. What's up, Dana?
I got to double fist this thing.
There you go, Dana.
Hold on.
Yeah, I haven't pulled mine out of the box yet, so I haven't worried about the whip yet. So,
Jeff, you're gonna love that antenna, man. You just drive in and tune the baby up, and it's ready to go. I was amazed at how easy it was.
Yeah, I need
like
to
the
figure out how to
challenge.
mount it on my car.
I like the challenge of putting antennas up in the air at the park and activating.
I just like tearing the roof up with my freaking Element and freaking putting the tri-mag mount on there with the ham sticks.
Yeah,
Jeff,
I wish I had
that's
time
when
to
you
Frank,
gotta drill. Just drill.
No drill.
Yeah, put that NMO mount in there.
Yep.
No.
No
Frank,
drilling.
I like to set up antennas too, and when it's nice outside, I don't mind. Even when it's like 40 and 50 degrees, I don't mind. With single digits, I just want to make the contacts. I'm not really too concerned about being out there in the cold.
Oh, I know a couple guys, and I do the same thing when I get the chance. Tahoe during the winter, that gets down to single digits absolutely during the daytime, and still go out there and activate POTA, no problem.
The key to doing it in the winter is being able to at least go outside and set up in your antenna if you have to. What you do is you drive to wherever you're going to with the heat blasting, and once you get there, keep the heat on while you're doing everything outside the car. And then when you get in the car, turn the heat off, turn your engine off, and then do your parks on the air stuff. And when you get cold, turn your radio off, turn the heat back on. That's all you got to do.
So here's that house I was telling you about, and I just looking down on it, right? There's a tower there, there's a tower there, there's a tower there, there's a tower there, and it looks like a tower there.
Those towers are almost hitting that satellite.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How do you get like coax out to those things? Just bury it?
It's buried in the ground.
It's like a commercial site almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those people that put up those those people that put up those towers and have the money to do that and have that land, Yeah, they do it
So
the right way. They don't
this is
half-ass it.
No.
yeah. So what's interesting is this area was very rural 20 years ago. So like all these homes that are here, the ones, this is that neighborhood I was telling about that all these homes are all built in what was a, cornfields. I'm wondering if, yes, we can do it. Okay.
Whoa. Don't crash.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
there's,
God.
yeah.
How high do you think that's up? 100 feet, maybe? 75 feet?
No, that the tall one there is easily a 200-foot tower.
Oh my God. So those
I don't,
guys have to be like professional broadcasters or something to get all this. I mean, that's like, I mean, you can't, that's not how you're right. 100% right, Jeff. That is not half-assed at all. I mean,
No, you can't. If you're going to set up a huge tower and have all this antennas, you're not buying. You're not being a cheapskate and buying cheap equipment because you want to make these contacts. You want to have those towers up there permanently. You want them to be safe. You guys should see the guy wire on that large one there. Yeah, now you can see both of them. Um, you
oh
don't
my
do it
God.
half-assed. You get and you build. You don't dig a trench and lay the cable. You probably get conduit for the cable to sit in the ditch.
Oh,
oh, look at
heliac
that
direct
The
burial.
KU
C
band.
band dish.
Yeah.
Heliac's
That's their
direct
downlink.
burial. You don't need conduit for.
What's that, Frank?
Heliac's direct burial. You don't need conduit for.
Oh,
Just
yeah.
Well,
dig a
whatever
trench.
they're using,
So
they
is
don't
that
buy. They do it the
All
correct
these antennas,
way.
and then he's got this light out here that's going to cause a
kill 'em?
RFI.
So is that the house that's only for ham radio, or
No.
the
I
guy
don't know
lives there
what,
too?
I don't know who lives there. Obviously, he's a ham radio operator. And if I would have to guess, this building is probably where they do the ham radio from.
If I ever win the lottery, the first thing I'm gonna do is buy myself a soft serve machine, then a bunch of land that I can put antennas on.
Yep.
Probably remote into them somehow, but that's pretty amazing. I'm sure his neighbors probably love him.
Yeah.
We live right by a TV station right here. They have no idea what that is.
right.
Oh man,
It's
that's
kind of
nice.
funny because people move into these areas, they don't know what's going on. We have people all the time. I live probably about 15 miles from Salem Nuclear Power Plant, probably a little bit
Mhm.
more. But I'm outside the 12-mile radius of the audio siren tests and the free potassium iodine pills. But
Free.
yeah, every quarter they do the siren test, which they just did, and you always see people on like Ring or Nextdoor wondering what's this siren. It's like, congratulations, you moved into 12-mile radius of a nuclear power plant. You get quarterly siren tests and free quarterly packages of potassium iodine. You're lucky. But I
Look at that.
remember someone posted something. They posted something like yesterday or today about it, and I'm like, oh Lord. But someone, like last time I was on there, they took a picture of the warning signs that say, oh, every quarter we do these siren tests, and they're like, what is this? We just moved here.
They're bumming.
Do your research, did you?
I live by Chino Hill State Prison or Chino State Prison, and every Friday at noon we hear the alarm going off, the little test alarm, the I jumped the fence alarm.
Yep. My parents, I remember when my parents wanted to move out of North Wilmington, they looked at, I want to say it was Concordville, Pennsylvania. And we looked at a house. I remember going there, and then they found out that it was like within a mile of a prison. They said, nope. We also looked at a very nice, expensive house. I think it was probably just expensive because of the land it was on, but It was in the valley of a reservoir, a dammed reservoir. Nope, they declined on that too. So, but yeah, if people don't do their research and they don't know where they're moving to, it's welcome to the neighborhood.
And then you get the people complaining about when we have to blow the horn, or when airplanes fly too low, or
Yeah.
You know, that happens a lot, and it utterly amazes me. Like we have a gun range up in Indianapolis that can only shoot 22s now because people
What?
bought land and moved in next to a gun range. It's a gun range that's been there for, since the 50s.
Yeah, we have a same thing down here. They built all these houses around
That music
gun range.
That music video music venue, the outdoor one I mentioned earlier, Deer Creek, same thing. They built this out in the middle of nowhere. People decided to move around it, and all of a sudden, it's too loud, and so they have to shut the shows down at like 11 o'clock.
Well, they have that
Yeah.
thing with in California with the airports. They're like complaining about the airports. So like, this. There's an area not just south of me. They're complaining about Ontario Airport. It's like, wait a minute, those houses just got put in there like 5 years ago. You knew about these airplanes flying over when you moved here.
Yeah,
This brings in money for our local area here.
Ontario's been there for what, 80 years now?
Yeah, it used to be a military base too, I think. I mean, it's not like it's
Yeah.
new. This was all farmland even like 30 years ago when I moved out here.
really?
40 years ago, actually, I should say.
Huh?
And
When I was a little guy
and
from
then-
Long Beach.
New guy.
then there's the guys that complain about the trains. Once they move next to the trains, oh, the trains are too loud. They're too noisy. They blow the horn all
No,
the time.
they're over that way. Yeah, I got an Amtrak substation or whatever they're called on the a mile away from me. You could hear them banging on stuff and doing all kinds of things all hours of the day.
Yeah, but you're not going to be a Karen or a Kyle
No,
and complain about
knew
it.
it-
'cause
I
you
knew
know
it
it's
was
been
there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I may not have known it was there, but not like it's like I'm far enough away from it where it doesn't bother me. It's not going to wake me up in the middle of the night or anything like that. So,
So
but
I
still,
had some, and this actually I found this out through the ham community. I had somebody call me up and go, "Hey Frank, do you know if there's any engines that have been idling nonstop for a week plus at this specific spot?" And I'm like, "No, that's a main line. We don't idle there. We pass through." And he's like, "Oh, okay, because we got a complaint, and the guy's really upset about it. That there's an engine just idling outside his house for the last 2 weeks." And I'm like, about the only time we would idle there is if we're waiting on another train to meet us at that point. And even then, we're usually passing each other as we meet. So no, there's no train, no engine stop there idling, just pissing off this guy. No.
All right. So the chat never disappoints.
Of course not.
That is the station. Whiskey 9 Radio Echo. And here's his list of antennas.
is that the one that the map you showed us?
This is the menu
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, here's the menu of antennas.
I'll take
So
that.
150 feet, 160 feet, 108 feet, 170 feet, 199 at 40-meter tower. Frank,
Yeah.
you were not far off. You said it was a 200-foot tower. I wasn't. I was thinking it was a little bit lower than that.
He's 1 foot underneath the regulation where you have to contact the FAA.
I bet.
That's
yeah.
why I said 200 is that it had to been right there. And Dustin, thank you for that. He's the one that told you to look up W9RE.
I like the fact that it's 199 feet. Is
Hey,
1
it
foot
works.
underneath the regulation. Yes, it does.
So 200
Yeah.
feet is a regulation?
Yep.
Yep.
It's in there. So it's one of the exam questions on probably on all the pools.
Is that
It's-
AL? Is it Is it above ground?
Yep.
I know
So
that's
if
a
you put
probably
a
silly
tower
question.
above
Yeah.
ground, doesn't matter your
AGL.
elevation, because if a plane's coming in into Denver, which is a mile high, it's still a
Yeah.
mile off, and it's still like whatever X number of feet off the ground until it hits the runway. So it's not it's the elevation of the ground.
So yeah, it's AGL, and I think you can go. There's a limit you have to notify. I don't know. Can you go above 200 feet, or is it you just have to notify at
You have
200
to
feet?
notify them.
And install lights at 200 feet.
Yeah.
Some globes.
Yeah, if you drive around, depending on the area you live in, if you go by like radio towers, I remember seeing radio towers where I used to live. Well, besides the fact that I used to live near, I knew I'd live near a FM and an AM radio station. And I remember I used to drive to that state or ride my bike to that station and play in the creek there. But where I used to live, also, I remember seeing lights on huge towers. I don't know what they were for because I didn't know of any station around there. But I always remember seeing the lights driving at night. Sometimes liquored up, sometimes not. Sometimes it's just coming home from work.
So, Greg, if
Yeah,
you go to those AM towers down the road from you, they have lights because they're over 200 feet.
Oh yeah, they do.
So I know I was aware that if you live closer to an airport, there are some different regulations on antenna height.
I
Yeah,
was
it's
always kind of
200.
confused. Was above 200 feet above like the structures? Like I don't know, whatever. But I
Gr-
don't know. That's why I asked that question.
Ground to the top,
Okay.
or if you what you say AGL, which
Yeah.
above ground
ground,
level.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, if it's 200 feet above the ground, you have to contact the FAA.
It's a whole lot more pain in the butt to do and more paperwork and lights. And then you have the maintenance of those lights and run the power
Yeah.
up.
Power up
tower.
to them.
Yeah.
Cause a noise.
So
Less noise, the better.
$199. Oh, Dana
what?
with the hot tips here. FAA Form 7460-1.
Wow. Sounds like that form that Carlos was talking about.
Right?
Yeah, that one you got to fill out when your radio falls off your hip at 12,000 feet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
that was
the I tell on myself form.
Yeah. I think.
Got quiet.
Yeah.
I kind of want to figure out what those towers were now.
Well, just based on what I saw, I'm going to go with Roan or similar.
No, I mean where I used to live, what those towers were, because there's never a radio station where I grew up as a teenager. Now, when I was when in the 70s, when I was growing up in North Wilmington, yes, it was WDEL and WSDW. That was the radio station, the AM and the FM station. I knew those, but I remember when I moved out to other side of the town, there's just these towers in the middle of nowhere. Whether they've built up developments all around there now and other things, but I don't know what those towers were ever for.
Chris,
I'm
you
just kinda
probably
curious.
could. I'd want to run an amp behind it, but absolutely.
You really need to run JT65 for the longevity.
Yeah.
Run 1500 watt FT8.
Yeah.
Can you do that legally? I think you can, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not on all the band. I think 30 you can't do that. I want to say
30
or
200.
yeah. I think that's the only band you have a limitation on. People be saying I'm burning up gonna be burning up my radio. I run FT8 100 watts all day long. No problems. Knocking on wood here just in case. It's been about 2 years, year and a half, whatever. I'm just looking. I guess this Hollywood Hills fire is getting pretty bad. It's starting to take out stuff.
Yeah, I noticed that.
can't imagine I'm going to be going to work tomorrow.
You're gonna go to work. I already know. If I have to go to work, you have to go to work.
Well, they canceled the Calgary Flames playing the Kings tonight. Of all things, I'm guessing it would be a bad look if the Lakers play 10 miles away from an evac zone, but it just might be me. But
You
Well,
know,
I found the antenna on a map. I mean, marked, and it's city-data.com, but I can't figure out. It doesn't have any information for it. It has all these other ones listed.
oh, oh, oh my goodness!
hmm.
Because I just want. They don't say what these towers are for. They're all like 104 feet, 76, 71, 150.
Are all those like custom made, and you just like get certain sections that you need? I don't know
You-
much about those size towers.
You can. They come in standard lengths. From 12 feet all the way up to 200 feet, and then you just customize how you want to build it.
So they got a 200-foot one and cut a foot off of it.
No, what you do is you just don't put it up all the way. You just take a foot, you bolt it down a foot instead of bury it in the cement a foot.
Do they go up, like pitch them up, or they
could be
crank
like,
them up?
it could be either crank up or tilt up. The higher you go, though, it's more likely crank up than a tilt up. Tilt up is meant for smaller towers like my 48-foot tower.
You have a tower, Frank?
I do. It's a Roan HDBX 48. I love it.
I don't have a tower. I got a DX Commander though. It works great.
Well, at least yours is built, unlike someone else's.
Yeah.
What is this, year 3 or 4 now that he's been saying he'll build it?
Oh, I don't know. Don't know. Well, hey guys, I think it's probably time to wrap it up here. I think we're actually touching the 3-hour mark. I think we're getting like Greg's live streams here.
I'm going to be live streaming tonight. I did mine today, so I'm good.
Yeah.
We don't want to pull Hayden and go for 24 straight hours?
No, sir. I got to work in the morning.
Yeah, I have work in like 2 hours.
It's late back there too. Sounds like
Yeah,
I got to
it's-
go to work. I just got an email tomorrow. That sucks.
Told you.
I was wondering.
10 miles from an evac zone.
We got
Yeah.
all the snow on Sunday or Monday. It's like they closed all the schools. It's like I just want to not have to go to work tomorrow, but I work from home. So I'm like, the heck.
I told him I had a 2-hour delay, and I had to shovel my way out from the back patio to the building. So
Well, they're Open Range Communications is the name of the company that owns these towers in Colorado, and they're microwave towers, and they have call signs. WQNF 837.
It's fun what you can find online for the towers.
Yeah, but I don't know what they do.
I want a tower now.
Broadband. Ground
There's no
elevation is
place-
310 feet.
are they
No
on
place
the
for it.
side of mountains?
No, we don't have mountains here in Delaware.
Oh, I thought you said in Colorado.
The address for the owner is in Colorado and the licensee. They're in Greenwood Village, Colorado. The name of the business is called Open Range Communications. There's 2 names. One's a contact info. One's a licensee. The address is the same.
This is
Which
NC0B from Colorado, I believe. That Dustin sent me that, or Dustin put it in the chat. I think this is the house that I was talking about. Somebody was telling me about a while back. It might have been Dustin. Like they generate their own power and stuff out there, or they have generators or something, and
Nice.
they're completely
Look-
off grid.
Look at that guy wires for that large tower. That's
Look
just
at Home
insane.
Slice up here. Hey, it's his poop bucket right there.
I got a poop bucket. My printer has a poop bucket.
This look, did it fall over there? Or?
No, it's look at how they got it up. They don't. I guess they didn't lift it up. They kind of eased it up diagonally. Maybe I don't
Yeah,
know.
like-
Do you have to have cranes? It looks like they're running like Windows 98 right here. This got
That's
to be old.
XP.
This is old.
That's
That's-
XP.
No, this isn't that old because there's 7610 in here.
No, but those monitors are square. Well, not completely square, but they're not widescreen.
Yeah, this might be the house that I heard about. It's nobody. It's like a club owns it. I think maybe
Could be.
Dustin would know.
Well, that's Bob Sherwood's place.
Bob Sherwood. I'm gonna go dip out of this. So if I don't know if you guys want my face there, big screen here. There we go. Oh, that worked out perfect.
dude, that's all I used to do, man.
that was like we tried to do that.
That's right.
Yeah, that's a nice setup. Thanks, Dustin, for showing that. I love. By the way, one of my favorite things. Some days I'll just be bored and not even play radio, and I'll just look through these like ham shacks because I love seeing these setups. Like some people like put some real effort into it. I just haven't. I wish I had time to do this.
Mine's super simple. Commercial gear rules the world.
So it's just personal shack.
There's my effort right there, right behind me. Tower. I mean, a rack.
That's a nice rack.
Right.
That's
It's got a nice rack.
That's what I said. Yeah. So that's just a 2-post rack. So I actually have to take and put some holes in the floor. And
Ooh,
yeah,
my wife
I'm
would
having
kill
a-
me if I did that.
I'm having a hard time with that one.
No holes.
Greg,
Yeah.
just drill the holes. Just drill
no.
them.
You're not married. You don't.
So
Trust me.
yeah, that's the ask for forgiveness later policy when she finds them finally.
Actually, my wife's just like dig the hole or drill the holes, right? And I'm like, but I don't know if I'm ready to do that. I just drill the holes. I'm like, all right. So
Tim,
I actually
that's a
I had
smart
the
wife.
guys when they put the flooring in. I told them to make sure the tail end of it is in that corner. So when I eventually take that thing out or whatever, I can peel up those 3 or 4 pieces of flooring and replace them.
That's a smart wife, Tim. Just drill the holes.
Yeah, this was anything to get me out of the house. So she's like, do it.
My
So
wife said it keeps me in the house.
Nate says there's some YouTube videos for that station in
nice.
Indianapolis. So I'll have to check it out.
Later, Dustin.
I've probably met him. I just don't know him, but I live far enough outside of Indianapolis that I'm not, because I don't drive up there every day anymore. I'm not part of that group of ham radio operators. That I refuse to use repeaters anymore. Unless it's, a hotspot.
Or the
Talking
wind
to
system.
Greg.
You mean you're not going to take Jason's 2025 repeater challenge?
Did my video
that?
freeze? No.
Okay.
What?
I don't have anything against repeaters. I just don't like repeaters.
They
Fair
could be annoying / repetitive, depending on how you look at it and who's really on there, who uses them, and how they talk. And I'll listen to my repeater once in a while. I mean, I listen to it a little bit more depending on how busy I am. but sometimes I just if there's people on there talking and someone just annoys me just because of their voice or what they're talking about, I just turn it off.
What we need to do
I got a
is
quick
invade.
check in and out.
We need to invade the Renegade repeater in SoCal. That's what we need to do. Just all of us, all at once.
Showtime.
They took it off of Broadcastify.
That's
At
okay.
least one of them.
I'll send you a link for another one.
Did it violate the terms and services?
I don't know if they were working on it or it got taken down or what, but it popped out of my like favorites from my app. So
I'll send you another one, Jeff. That's equally as entertaining.
is it KPOW?
Mm-hmm.
K6POW?
Uh-huh.
K6POU?
Yep.
I don't
that
hear
like-
much on there. I don't hear much.
Is that like
on
K
there.
Rock? Because I remember K Rock.
Yeah. That was when it was a real station, probably when you heard it.
Oh yeah.
No, this is Renegade and NorCal.
They don't have real radio stations in NorCal. Come on.
Sure, we do.
Maybe was it KNBR? Is that what that is up there? The Giants?
No.
The sports?
Yeah. Ugh, KNBR. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Sports radio. Come on.
I know some good folks that run that radio station.
Greg, KNBR is the equivalent of the Papa system on commercial radio. No, thank you.
Ooh.
Wow.
Better than the wind system. The
Oh,
wind
boy.
shits them.
All right. So hey, on that note, guys, we're gonna go ahead and get out of here. But thank you for sticking away. We're over 3 hours. I'm surprised we haven't.
And I'm sorry I couldn't find you here too. I was waiting for you to pop it up on your channel. I didn't realize this was a newer thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So
I was like, oh, I don't think he's going on. I was texting Sam. I'm like, where are you?
yeah, no, doing the ham radio
Excellent.
kids table. I was doing, and I'm going to start live streaming on my channel too individually and do things. But this group, I definitely wanted to create something different and have a place where we can get out there and push the limits, because this isn't our grandfather's ham radio anymore. And we are not stuck with using out-of-date terms and doing out-of-date things. And that's right. So
Being sad.
No sad hams allowed here.
no, I wouldn't even say sad. I would just say
Mad.
that there's a lot of people out there that are afraid to push the limits, to try things, they want the safe and easy. And this hobby was not founded for the safe and easy. It was founded as an experimenter's hobby, and people were pushing the limits and doing new things. And we've kind of got into this easy button mode of things. And I want to challenge people to push those limits, to find that spirit again, and to push themselves. And we are in the new golden age of radio and technology, and embrace it, not be afraid of it. So
Absolutely. Well, maybe we'll
I'm-
get some new younger folks up here with us.
I'm going to push this because I know it's going to be fun and exciting. Tomorrow at 10 Central, that's 8 Pacific, Greg, since you're out here with me.
If you've got another live stream, I'm going to slap
I
you.
do.
Frank. You got like live streams every night of the week.
Every
Beast not
Thursday, NorCal Swap Net, 10 Central, 8 Pacific, and then Friday at 7 Pacific, 9 Central, I'm going to have a very fun CQ chit chat. It's a special. So all 9 of you that are watching, come on by and check it out.
Yep. Awesome. Good stuff. And don't forget, tomorrow night, we have all new video premieres. Let's see. I've got one. Jeff, you've got one, which is not, you normally a Thursday night guy?
No.
No. So this is a new one for you. So you're already pushing your boundaries. I love it.
I've done a few Thursday nights, but I moved mine from Tuesday to Thursday just because it was going over an hour already, and I just
That's good.
It just annoyed me, so I just moved to Thursday. So
That's good. So
And
this
we have
week we've
Paul
got
and
2 hours
Freddie
of
as well.
content. Paul and Freddie. Yes.
Yep.
So those will be going on, and then immediately following that, we'll roll right into the Coffee and Ham Radio's Thursday night live stream. So
And then
with
a
that,
2-hour
everybody,
break until mine.
I'm
And
sorry,
with
do what?
And I said, and then a 2-hour break until my live stream after car.
All right, good deal. All right, everybody, have a good night. 73, and
Thanks
we
for
will
having me
see you
on.
later.
See you guys.
See ya.